for Carter. Oh, Barnes, long shot. No.
Oh, my.
It's a three-pointer.
Carolina wins it. The Tar Heels win it.
The following is a presentation of the Tar Heels Sports Network.
Carolina topped Florida State by 8 points in Chapel Hill back on December 2nd. That was thanks to a ferocious second-half comeback fueled by some very aggressive Tar Heel defense. Yet the fact remains, the Seminoles led that game by 14 points in the Smith Center early in the second half. The Heels hope to put a full 40 minutes of quality play together today, this time back on the road in Tallahassee for a rematch with the Seminoles. The Tar Heels Sports Network's coverage of the 71st meeting between Carolina and Florida State starts right now.
15 on the shot clock. Right to lob to Trimble. He climbs the ladder and throws it down.
Cadeau puts his defender in the spin cycle and lays it up and over his head for two.
Ingram between the circles to R.J. Davis for three. Knocked it home from the right wing. If you need a bucket, who else? Well, I thought he was going to slow it up to Trimble. Back to Baycott. Slow that up, baby. Two-handed dunk. Crossover, step back. That's an impossible shot. How'd he do it? Oh, drives it. Bounce past the Withers. Way up in the air for the flush. One-handed push pass to Baycott. He's going to try a corner. Three. There we go. Davis, long pass to Trimble in the corner. He'll try a triple. Why not? Everybody's knocking him home. Back to Davis. His three at the horn. Count it! Davis swishes it home at the buzzer.
The Tar Heels Sports Network is on the air with Carolina basketball.
This is Dave Nathan. Carolina took round one versus Florida State in Chapel Hill. Today the Heels have to win in Tallahassee to remain unbeaten in ACC play. Jones Ames will have the call of this afternoon's contest.
Defense, rebounding, free throws. All things that were relevant the first time Carolina played Florida State are helping the Heels stack wins this season. Carolina will try and continue to follow that formula today against the Noles. Our analyst today, Pete Chilcutt, former All-ACC Tar Heel power forward, had 2 ACC titles as a Tar Heel, was on that 91 Final Four squad, threw in an NBA World Championship with the Rockets as well.
Thanks, Jones. Excited to be here in beautiful Tallahassee. Never been to Florida State's campus before. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a challenging game for sure.
We've got all those storylines on the Reach Jewelers pregame show. Plus, Jalen Withers talks about where he fits on this team. We'll bring you an interview with head coach Hubert Davis and comments from Leonard Hamilton. Pete Chilcutt and Adam Lucas answer your questions about the Tar Heels, and we'll check on scores from around the country, too. All of that more is coming up as we count you down to tip-off between the Tar Heels and Seminoles from the Tucker Center in Tallahassee. This is Carolina basketball from Learfield.
This is Carolina basketball on the Tar Heels Sports Network, and you're listening to the Reed's Jewelers pregame show. Carolina basketball is brought to you by Hunt Brothers Pizza, the official pizza of Carolina Athletics. This is the Reed's Jewelers pregame show.
Carolina opened up ACC play, beating Florida State 78-70 on December 2nd. Who could have known then what we know now? The Heels are 8-0 atop the ACC standings, and Florida State, after some head-scratching losses, has rebounded to post a 6-2 mark, good for the second-best record in the conference. So, Jones, for all the obstacles the Heels have had to climb this year, today's game may be the biggest.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. It is. These are two teams playing really well. I mean, Florida State's won 6 in a row. They've won 7 of their Florida State's won 6 of their last 7 and 8 of their last 10. So I was getting a bunch of information there while I was about to answer that question. We had a lot of traffic right in front of us there, Dave. Sorry. So Florida State's won 6 of the last 7, 8 of the last 10. We know the Tar Heels are coming in here on a 9-game winning streak. So these are two teams that are playing good basketball. And, you know, Pete, we've made a big deal, and rightfully so, about the fact that Carolina has led every ACC game it has played to this point by 10 or more points. They've won every ACC game by 10 or more points other than the Florida State game, which they won by 8. Well, FSU's led every ACC game they've played by 8 or more points, and all but one of them by 10 or more points, including the game in Chapel Hill. So these are two teams that in conference play have been playing pretty well and pretty consistently well here over the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, when a team, we played them so long ago back in early December, I think a lot of the fans at least have kind of thrown them under the bus. Maybe that was a early season win for us, and we're moving on. They didn't fold up. They went in, and I think after maybe another loss after that, they really pulled together some really good wins, especially on the road. They're a very talented team, and they're tough. And I don't know if we win that first game, if it's in Tallahassee. I think we're fortunate enough in that second half to be at home. But this is going to be a true test. One of our, probably definitely the toughest road game of the year for us so far.
Yeah, I agree with that, Dave. I think two things that Pete said that are relevant. I mean, in that big comeback that Carolina had in the Smith Center, there is no question that the momentum of that moment was aided by a terrific Carolina crowd, and just all the energy of the game flipped from one side to the other. And if you don't remember, Florida State led that game 45-31 with about 17 and a half to go. And then Carolina eventually led at one point 70-56. So it was a 39-11 run for Carolina, including a 22-0 spurt in the midst of all that. So it was an incredible run in that game, aided tremendously by Carolina's defense first and foremost. But the energy in the building was a big part of that. Clearly, Carolina can't afford to find itself in a similar deficit today. It'll be much more difficult to climb out of something similar this afternoon.
No doubt. And in that previous game, the Heels were held to just 29 points in the first half, but outscored Florida State 49-35 in the second to secure the win. It was headlined by R.J. Davis's 27 points and 5 assists. But, guys, the free throw line is where the Heels took care of business, connecting on 25 of 31, while FSU made only 4 of 8.
Well, and Carolina's lived there all year long. It's been a big part of Carolina's season to this point. They make more free throws on average than any team in the Power, we'll say 6 conferences, to include the Big East in that conversation. They're averaging nearly 19 made free throws per game. And, Dave, I think the bigger part of that number from the first game is that is an unusually low number for Florida State. FSU is actually second in the ACC in free throws attempted in total. Carolina is first with 472. Florida State is second with 439. And Pete, defending without fouling. That has been a constant statement from Hubert Davis this year, and it'll be important in this game because FSU can get to the line and shoot it decently well.
Yeah, I think Florida State is extremely dangerous on the offensive end. They take some threes, a lot of threes, but they also seem like they drive hard to the basket. They're going to go in there and try to create contact. As you mentioned, some of that pick and roll action, some of that things where we're going to have some switching. They're going to have to be pretty careful keeping them out of the paint, and we're going to get some bad calls. We're on the road. They're going to get to the line. But I think the most important part is that on our end, we have to maintain our same offensive attacking posture where we're going to try to get to the line, go inside a little bit. We got to maintain that free throw advantage for us. That's a huge part of our game. But at the same time, it's going to be a challenge to make sure that we can keep them off the line because they're very athletic and they're going to have some size mismatches. I think especially with that guard position, at both of our guard positions. I think we saw some of that early in the first half last time. So we got to be careful, got to react to some of what they're trying to do, but also keep them off the line.
Closing thought here on Carolina, and I don't think there's any question this program over the last few years has had its ups and downs, but this year success has become contagious as Carolina's in the midst of a 9-game winning streak. It's the program's longest in a single season since running off 10 in a row late in the 2015-2016 slate. And Pete, I'll phrase this to you here. You've been in locker rooms, I'm guessing, where sometimes it feels like what can go wrong will go wrong. And then there's some other locker rooms where you can do no wrong, and this team seems to be in the mix of the latter there.
Yeah, I've been on teams where we won 15 games in the entire season. But on the flip side, I've been on teams that made some great runs. And when you're doing that, the thing that keeps the runs going is that people aren't satisfied and they're motivated and they have some good leadership in the locker room. And I think we're very blessed on this team to have not only guys that had been here for 4 or 5 years, but we got guys who are here now that they're proud and happy to be part of this program, but they're bringing some veteran leadership that has been through the battles. So I don't think we run the risk of ever taking anything for granted. But at the same time, we got to kind of remember what's got us this streak, which is it's not offense. It's that rebounding and that defense that's really carried us through this streak. We got to make sure that's going to be our focus to keep it going.
2 quick things, Dave. Had a chance to talk to Jalen Withers, who I know we'll hear from a little bit later in the pregame show at length this week, and he talked about this team only wants to win, and that it truly is in the locker room, that it is not an individual thing. And it's very much just about winning games. I think having older guys that are near the end of their college career is a part of that. This team just wants to win games. I think you've seen that in their effort and their execution. And then, yes, it has been a difficult couple seasons. This is still Carolina basketball, though. We understand the place that Carolina holds in the hierarchy of this sport. But it has been a difficult couple years, and there's easy reasons why. COVID changed things for a lot of people. They went from a Hall of Fame head coach to somebody made that transition to Hubert Davis, who had never been a head coach before. And so there just been a lot of things that have been happening around Carolina basketball. It definitely feels like, though, that things have settled back down a little bit this particular year, and hopefully moving forward for the Tar Heels, both from every aspect that you can find. This feels, if that makes sense, like a Carolina basketball team, and certainly the results on the floor have shown that.
Carolina going for a 10th consecutive win and season sweep over Florida State, with today's game tipping off in about 45 or so minutes from right now. We'll pump the brakes here on the Reed's Jewelers pregame show. Come back with a look at the Noles next from Learfield. Tar Heel fans, Food Lion is the proud sponsor of the Score to Give More program. For each free throw the Tar Heels make in today's game, Food Lion Feeds will donate 100 meals to feed our neighbors in need right here in the Triangle. Dave Nathan welcoming you back to the Reed's Jewelers pregame show as we shine the spotlight on Florida State, a team that's 12-7 overall but 6-2 in the ACC, and coming off a huge 85-69 win at Syracuse. The game was tied at the half. Leonard Hamilton's team took control in the final 20 minutes to earn the road win. And, Jones, that sets the stage for the biggest ACC game of the season to date.
Jameer Watkins was a big part of that win for Florida State. He had a career-high 27 points in the game. He was 8 of 15 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, got to the line a bunch. He was 9 of 12 at the free throw line, and he played well against Carolina in the Smith Center. He had 17 points and 8 rebounds in that matchup in Chapel Hill. And worth noting that Florida State is a different team now, just personnel-wise, than it was the game in Chapel Hill, both good and bad for them. On the bad side, Cameron Fletcher, may remember the Kentucky transfer, was injured in the game against Carolina. That turned out to be an injury, unfortunately, that is going to keep him out for the remainder of the season. So Fletcher, who was averaging right around 7 points, 5 rebounds for FSU coming off the bench, but an integral part of their rotation, is out for the rest of the year. But 2 players are back for Florida State. One, Cam Corrin, who was injured in that game before Carolina. So he didn't play against Carolina. That was the first of a 5-game stretch that he missed in December with an injury. Team was just 2-3 without him. But then, Pete, they've added Primo Spears, a point guard, 6'3 junior. He did not play against Carolina because he wasn't eligible early in the year due to he's a 2-time transfer. So the NCAA, of course, was forced to waive all their restrictions on 2-time transfers a couple weeks ago, and Spears became immediately eligible. And so a guy who's played at Duquesne, played then at Georgetown, had a lot of success at both places, has come in and has given Florida State another dynamic player in the backcourt, and most importantly, probably, especially when you juxtapose it with what happened in Chapel Hill, a ball handler and somebody who can start their offense.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the advantage of having another guy coming in that can score, but also handle the ball, handle that pressure. The thing that really people look at their stats or their players and like, hey, no one's really scoring a lot, but they got a bunch of guys, 5 or 6 guys that can really probably score on any given night. He's definitely one guy that can do it from the outside. So I think we got to be careful. They're a very balanced team offensively. They got a lot of guys who can put the ball in the bucket. Just no one player who really stands out as a star. But that's not always a bad thing. So I think it's going to be a dangerous game from a defensive standpoint. We really can't afford to focus on anybody in particular. We got to be pretty balanced defensively.
Right, and Dave, I mean, that's Florida State, right? I mean, we've seen that for decades under Leonard Hamilton, that that's how he builds his team. You just have waves of players that are all very similar physically that are coming at you, and that's how Florida State has been successful. They'll regularly play 10 or 11 guys. They have the best size and length in the league, and that hasn't changed through the years. So, they're going to be rolling out. Everybody's going to be, Primo Spears is 6'3", and he's the shortest guy on the bus. And so, they'll have a bunch of tall, long guys out there that'll challenge Carolina all night long.
And to illustrate the point about just how balanced Florida State is offensively, Jones, you mentioned Jameer Watkins earlier. He leads FSU in scoring at 13.9 points per game, but he's barely in the top 25 in the ACC in scoring. And really, I think outside of a team like Virginia, it's rare to be this good in the standings collectively with your top scorer averaging the 24th most amount of points in the entire league.
Yeah, you look, Watkins, as you said, right under 14 points per game. Darren Green Jr. just a little over 12. Primo Spears in playing about half the season, averaging 11.5. But, there's a lot of guys, as you look at this, Pete, that are averaging 8.5 or 6.5 or 7. And it's just, again, there's certainly some guys who can have big nights. And we mentioned Watkins at 27. But it's that consistency. It's that you can't help off one guy because he can't hurt you. You just have so much balance in what Florida State wants to do that they are a factor in that way.
No doubt. And I think what you mentioned with waves, that makes a good visual, because they come with waves and they come with the height and the length and just athletic guys who can defend, and they can play in the passing lanes. They're very dangerous defensively. Just a lot of things to consider with that wave after wave of players that come in.
And Pete mentioned the defense, and these are two defensive philosophies that are a little different, Dave. I mean, Florida State really is playing defense to turn you over, and they average better than 9 steals per game. That is best in the ACC and top 25 in the country. But so they want to get out and run. They want to force a mistake and go run. Carolina defends, at least in my opinion, they defend more to force you into a bad shot and then get the rebound, to which Carolina has done very well. The Tar Heels lead the ACC in defensive rebounds per game. They're second in the league in defensive rebounding percentage. So two different philosophies, but both successful in their own way.
It's Carolina and Florida State coming up at the top of the hour. After a break, Pete Chilcutt, he's going to stick around. Adam Lucas, he's going to join us. And Jones will speak to Coach Davis inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. That's when we come back to the Reed's Jewelers pregame show from Learfield. Today's pregame show is brought to you by Reed's Jewelers. The official Reed's Jewelers tip-off time is 2:05. Reed's Jewelers are home for fine Swiss timepieces, beautiful diamonds, and the world's most luxurious jewelry brands. Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. Visit your local Reed's Jewelers or Reeds.com. It is time for some of your Carolina Q&A, and to answer your questions, we've got answers with Pete Chilcutt and Adam Lucas. Pete, first one comes to you from Steve Levine. He says that he's curious to know what you've seen in Harrison Ingram's rebounding that has caused such an increase in his numbers over the last month or so.
Well, I'm a good guy to ask, because I have I think a perspective on rebounding, because I love to rebound, and that is, it's obviously all about the desire and the focus and the want to. And you have players out there who are just naturally good rebounders, but you have some players out there who maybe are undersized like Harrison that can really rebound, and it's just putting yourself in position, making it a focus that you're going to do that for the team. And then on the offensive end, going in at the same idea, going in just to go get a tip out or go and get your hands on the ball, never giving up on the play just because the shot goes up. it's just a mindset. And you can tell, first of all, he's a hard-nosed player defensively, and it just carries right over to his rebounding. And his effort on the boards has been amazing to see from my perspective, because obviously we didn't know him as a player as much as a competitor against us. But when you see him out there competing and going after those rebounds, is something that's amazing to see, but it really, really helps the team. So it's been great to see.
Second question from Thomas Lowe. Adam, does the team ever make signed memorabilia available as an NIL outlet for any other reason?
Well, of course, we cannot encourage anyone to do anything NIL-wise. However, I do happen to know team-signed basketballs, which are not an NIL thing, are available right now. In fact, the team was up signing them on the concourse yesterday after practice before they came to Tallahassee. So the ink's still hot. And there's an order form on GoHeels.com. The Tar Heels use the money that they raise from those autographed basketballs for various community things. They bought a new goal for the Boys and Girls Club in Chapel Hill a couple weeks ago. Things like that. That's where your money's going. So look under the autograph tab on GoHeels.com, and you'll find team-signed basketballs and some other cool stuff, too.
All right, guys. Good stuff. As we shift gears and send things over to Jones, who's with Coach Davis for our first installment of the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. It's brought to you by Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires, and for a dealer near you, just go to ContinentalTire.com.
Carolina back on the road where it felt like it has been a lot this season. This time to Tallahassee to see Florida State. And I'm with the head coach of the Tar Heels, Hubert Davis. We're inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Coach, a lot to talk about, but let's go back to Monday night. First, your team had such a terrific second half, played well the whole game, but that second half in particular in getting past a good Wake Forest team. You've had some days now to look at that and think of that. What did you like coming out of that one?
Well, I really liked the way that we got after it defensively. I just thought we were locked in. We were really good on the ball, whether it's a one-on-one situation, being disciplined, staying down on their shot fakes, keeping them out of the lane. Our ball screen defense was locked in. We did a really good job of contesting and staying with their shooters. And we finished our possessions with the rebound, and that allowed us to get out in transition and run. And all year we've been pretty good at that. And so just a great overall effort, but it started with the defense and finishing with the rebounding.
Thought it was interesting, Coach. Obviously, RJ Davis was terrific with 36 points, but you talked a lot about Armando Bacot on Monday night at the radio show, and Armando only had 5 points and 7 rebounds, and we've certainly seen him with bigger games than that, but you thought he had a big role in that win. What did he do so well?
He had a huge role. He was the one that anchored our defense. He was the one, whether, again, one-on-one or ball screen, he was a guy in the middle of the paint, just not allowing Wake Forest to be able to attack the basket. And then on the offensive end, the reason why we were getting layups because they didn't want to leave him. I mean, whether it was just a straight drive in transition, ball screen action, they were staying with Armando, and we were shooting layups because of their fear of coming off of Armando. So our success on both ends of the floor was because of Armando. And even though it didn't show up in terms of points in the box score, the reason why we won was because Armando was out there on the floor and his impact on the game.
He had 4 blocks in that game. He had 6 against Florida State. Jalen Withers, Jalen Washington have done a good job blocking shots as well this year. What does that add to your defense when you have the ability on the back end to erase some shots around the rim?
Well, I mean, we always talk about protecting the paint, and we want to keep teams from there because that's high percentage shots, and that's where you get fouled and get to the free throw line. So protecting the paint defensively is a big emphasis for us. But having Armando and Jay Wash and Jay Witt there to block and to alter shots really helps you defensively get those stops and allows us to get out in transition and run on the offensive end.
Coach, it was 78-70, the final score in Chapel Hill in early December. Carolina with that big comeback win over Florida State. What were some things that happened in that game that you would like to see carry over to hopefully have success today?
Well, I thought, getting the game at our pace, for us offensively, get down in transition, attacking a basket, drive, kick plays for threes, and getting to the free throw line, creating turnovers, getting stops defensively, rebounding the basketball. Those are the things that, we're going to have to do against Florida State again. Florida State gets to the free throw line a lot, just like us, so we've got to defend without fouling. They're going to crash the offensive glass. They're long, they're athletic. And then on the offensive end, we've got to get great shots. We've got to take care of the basketball because they play passing lanes. They switch everything. They're long and athletic. And if we can get good shots, I feel confident that we can make them. And if we don't, we can get the offensive rebound and maybe get fouled and get to the free throw line.
Coach, a couple players for them did not play in the first game. Primo Spears, a really talented guard, and Cam Corrin, one of many big guys that they have. What do those two add, or how does that change things in your mind as far as what they bring to the table today?
Well, you're right. Cohen, now being healthy, that gives them another 6'10", 6'11" guy, and so they can throw a number of them at Armando and our bigs, and so that's great for them in terms of depth, being able to contain Armando and our bigs around the basket. Primo Spears, he can get downhill. He's fast with the ball, and his ability to attack the basket and the paint off the dribble, whether it's in transition, one-on-one, or ball screens, that's going to be a huge emphasis on us, is to keep him out of the paint, because when he gets in there, he makes good decisions and open up a lot of things for them offensively. So, we're really excited about the challenge, and this week we've prepared and practiced to put ourselves in a position to play our best game against Florida State.
Challenge is a great word. Tar Heels have another one today on the road against Florida State. Coach, as always, thank you for the time and best of luck.
Thanks, Jones. I really appreciate it.
That is the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Before we get to our keys to the game, let's quickly pause 10 seconds for a station ID down the lines on the Tar Heels Sports Network. Take your Tar Heels tailgate to the next level with a new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. Let's get to our keys to the game. Jones, my key for this one for Carolina, just being aggressive on both ends of the floor. If you're going to do something, make sure you're doing it quickly. Take the fight to a team like Florida State, and if you do that, you might take the crowd out of this one early.
Yeah, mine is, I think, a little similar to that, Dave. No, not exactly the same, and that's being just strong with the basketball. Florida State leads the league, top 25 in the country in steals per game. They want to get out and run, and Pete, FSU does that pretty well. They turn you over, they get out, they get easy baskets. For Carolina to have its best chance to win today, it's got to be strong with the ball, running stuff.
We all had the same kind of mindset. Taking care of the ball, limiting live ball turnovers is going to be key to keeping this crowd out of it, to keeping the ball going our way without their fans getting into it, and protecting that ball is really important.
So Carolina and Florida State coming up just after the top of the hour. With a win, the Tar Heels would get to 17-3 overall, 9-0 in the ACC. And the last time Carolina started 9-0 in the league, it was 2001. So it has been a while since the Tar Heels have had this kind of a run of success, and we'll see if things keep on going. As far as the Reed's Jewelers pregame show goes, it's over. We've got the tip-off for you between Carolina and Florida State after this from Learfield.
Lights go off in the Tucker Center as they begin the starting lineup for the homestanding Seminoles here in Tallahassee. Thanks so much for joining us. It's the 71st meeting between Carolina and FSU. Jones Angel, Pete Chilcutt, Ben Alexander here courtside with us. You've heard from Dave Nathan and Adam Lucas as well. John Essick in our Tar Heels Sports Network studios. Let's get to the starting lineups. Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light, made to chill, an official beer of the Tar Heels. We'll start with the homestanding Seminoles, and Leonard Hamilton is the head coach. Of course, in his 21st year in Tallahassee, 35th year as the head coach. He's won just under 60% of his games as the head coach of the Seminoles, has 616 career victories. Starting five for FSU, the backcourt, Jalen Worley, 6'7" junior from Mount Airy, Pennsylvania, just under 7 points and 3 assists per contest. He's joined by a very good three-point shooter, Darren Green Jr., the senior, originally from Charlotte, started his college career at UCF. He shoots just under 40% from three. He has made 2 or more threes in 16 consecutive games. Up front for FSU, Jameer Watkins, 6'7", redshirt junior. He's a transfer from VCU. He had 17 to pace the Seminoles in their game in Chapel Hill earlier this season. Added 8 rebounds and 2 assists. He's FSU's leading scorer at just about 14 per contest. Deontay Green, 6'9" sophomore from Asheville, North Carolina, 6 points and 2 rebounds per game. He had 12 in Chapel Hill earlier this season. And then Baba Miller, the 6'11" sophomore, originally from Spain, didn't play the first half of last year due to some NCAA issues. He is having his first full season with Florida State this year and has played well. 8 points, 5 rebounds, and better than a block per contest. Now for the Tar Heels. They come in 16-3 overall, 8-0 and atop the ACC. They are ranked 3rd in the AP poll, 3rd in the coaches poll, and in his 3rd season is Hubert Davis as the head coach of his alma mater. Coach Davis has won better than 71% of his games in his short tenure in Chapel Hill. Heels not shaking up the starting lineup. Elliot Cadeau and R.J. Davis will be in the backcourt. Cadeau, the 6'1" rookie from West Orange, New Jersey, coming off an ACC high 14 points in the win over Wake Forest on Monday night. R.J. Davis, the senior from White Plains, New York, coming off an explosion, the career high 36 points in the game against Wake on Monday. He had career highs not just in points, but field goals made, field goals attempted. He was 14 of 23 from the field for those 36 points. He's the ACC's leading scorer at 21 points per game. Also in the backcourt, Cormac Ryan, the 6'5" graduate student from New York, the transfer from Notre Dame, is averaging 11 points per contest. Up front, Harrison Ingram, the Stanford transfer, junior originally from Dallas. Harrison actually leads the ACC in rebounds per game as far as conference games are concerned. Overall, he is 7th in the league at better than 8 rebounds per game, but in ACC play, he's averaging better than 10.5 rebounds per game. That's best in the conference. And then Armando Bacot, of course, the graduate student from Richmond. He leads the ACC in rebounding in total at better than 10 per game. He's 3rd in the conference in blocks. He had 6 blocks against FSU in Chapel Hill, coming off a game in which he had 4 blocks against Wake Forest on Monday night. Duncan Uniform Report. It's time to get back to buzzer beaters, blocks, bounce passes, and most of all, Duncan. Welcome back, Tar Heel fans. America runs on Duncan. Tar Heels, as the road team, will wear their road Carolina blue unis. The white numbers, letters, and trim. Argyle down the side of the jerseys and shorts. Florida State in pale gold uniforms today. Garnet numbers, letters, and trim. There's some white in the trim as well for the homestanding Noles. Lee Cassell, Ramey Steins, and Matt Potter, the 3 officials for this one. It is going to be Lee Cassell stepping in between Miller and Bacot. Ball in the air. Both teams tipped it, but it belongs to Florida State. Seminoles will have the basketball first. And gosh, this is such a big, tall, long, athletic Florida State team, but it's also a team that commits a turnover on its first possession, trying to bounce it into the paint to Worley. The pass was off the mark. Trickles out of bounds, and a turnover. And Pete, we're going to see full court pressure here from the Seminoles as Carolina gets it into R.J. Davis.
Yep, got the ball in nicely. Got the good first possession. See what we can get.
FSU eases that pressure up as Cadeau gets right by his defender, drops it off for Ingram, who misses the layup on the right side. And then there's a tie-up on the rebound. The ball is going to belong to Carolina on the possession arrow. Cadeau got right to the rim, left it for Ingram, who missed the layup. Then Ingram, wrestling with a Seminole for the rebound, will keep possession with Carolina on the alternating possession. But now that arrow flips to FSU. Inbounds goes deep out in the middle of the floor to R.J. Davis. Carolina working in the half court. Watkins at 6'7", guarding Davis, who's listed at 6 feet. Now in the left corner, Harrison Ingram has it, guarded by Deontay Green. Shot clock down to 7. Ingram leaves it for Cadeau. Cadeau drives left baseline. His teardrop floater a little too strong. Bacot tips the rebound to Cadeau. He'll kick it out to Cormac Ryan. His open 3 won't go. And eventually Florida State gets the rebound. Well, Carolina hit the glass hard. Had a lot of good looks, but never scored. Meanwhile, on the other side, Bacot slaps away a drive attempt by Watkins. Loose ball bounces to R.J. Davis. Here comes Carolina the other way. Game still scoreless. We played a little more than a minute in Tallahassee. Cadeau, his shirt untucked as he dribbles out in the middle of the floor, and the giant Seminole logo in the center jump circle.
Cadeau on the right wing. Hesitation. Drive. Layup. Good. He got right by Deontay Green.
Great shot. Great 3 shots. The first 3 shots were awesome. Great finish right there.
Cadeau changes speed so well. He just hesitated for a moment to get Green to relax and then exploded by him for the first bucket. Runner on the other side missed by Watkins. Strong rebound by Baycott in traffic. He'll kick it to Cadeau. Long pitch ahead to Ryan. He drives, got too deep, had to send it out to R.J. Davis. Davis drives left side. He'll send it to Ryan. Extra pass to Cadeau. Open 3, too strong. Ingram, the offensive rebound. Down low to Baycott, but he's stripped. Ball still kicked around. Eventually ends up with Florida State. Man, Carolina's getting good looks and a lot of rebounds when they miss, but it's still just 2-0. Meanwhile, there's a charge on the other end. Cormac Ryan got in front of the driving Baba Miller and earns the turnover as Miller ran him over in transition.
Yeah. We don't have much to show for it, but those first couple of possessions are really nice. We're moving the ball, getting some good shots, rebounding. Got to convert, though.
Yeah, Carolina 1 of 5 and 0 of 2 from 3, but they've got a lot of good looks here early. You have to like the way they're moving the ball and rebounding. Carolina already 3 offensive rebounds, but no second chance points. Cadeau with Worley sliding in front of him, just now crossing the timeline. As Carolina sets up in the half court. Cadeau crossover against Worley, gets by him, and he's fouled as he tries to score on the right side. Cadeau, that was just one-on-one, and he got by Worley, who eventually fouled him. And Cadeau will go to the free throw line, where it's been a struggle here lately. Just 3 of his last 8 in his last 4 games.
Love how aggressive he's being early. He can get to the basket, it seems like, when he wants.
Well, Florida State's going to press up on you so much defensively, both on and off the ball, that if you can get by your defender, which Cadeau can do well, then perhaps an opening. Right now, he's going to try and knock in a couple free throws. Still 2-0 Carolina, 17:46 to go in the first half. First free throw from the freshman is nothing but net. So he has all 3 of the points in the game so far. 3-0 Carolina, and Cadeau will have another. The rookie averaging 7.5 points, team high 3.5 assists per game. Cooley hits both free throws. It's 4-0 Tar Heels. Worley the other way for FSU. Drops it off for Miller, still well out near the timeline. Now to Darren Green Jr. R.J. Davis guarding him currently in the man-to-man. Up top it goes to Watkins. Watkins backdoor to Worley. Sends it out for an open 3, which is knocked in by Baba Miller. Miller 32% on the season from behind the arc, and Baycott has to take a timeout because he can't get the ball in after Miller knocked in the 3. So Florida State, who shoots 32.7% from 3. That's 11th best in the ACC. They only average making about 6 threes per game. But their basket from Miller cuts Carolina's lead to 1. And remember, they had 12 three-pointers in Chapel Hill. That ties for the most they've made all year. And Pete, the 3, okay, they made a 3. The bigger issue is Carolina couldn't get the ball in and had to waste a timeout here with just 2 minutes and 38 seconds going by.
Probably should have recognized they've been pressing since the get-go here, providing that little token pressure up front. We got to be able to get that ball in and not waste a timeout right there.
Yeah, Baycott just didn't have any avenues. Cadeau and Davis couldn't get free. And so Carolina has to burn that timeout. Huddles break. Carolina not making any subs. Cormac Ryan took an extra moment to talk to Coach Davis before he will be the man to go inbound it this time. Florida State is picking up with pressure in the backcourt. Baba Miller guarding the ball. Cormac Ryan can run the baseline. He does so and gets it into R.J. Davis, who now hands off to Cadeau. So 4-3. Cadeau with a layup and 2 free throws for Carolina. Baba Miller, the three-pointer for the Noles. Cadeau sees an opening, drive, sends it in the corner right to R.J. Davis for 3.
What a beautiful pass.
But Cadeau is controlling the action early as the penetration and pitch makes it 7-3 Carolina. Florida State working around the perimeter. The dangerous Watkins. Good size at 6'7". Drives right to the lane out to Deontay Green. He can't hit the 3. Harrison Ingram slides in for the rebound. And the officials have stopped the action. I think there's something on the court. Yeah, I don't know what it is, a piece of trash. Something had gotten onto the floor. So as soon as the ball became Carolina's on the rebound,
They blow the action dead. Now, that will allow Florida State to set up the press again. But Matt Potter saying, hey, look, we had to get the stuff off the floor, guys. Inbounds goes to R.J. Davis. So 7-3 as Davis hands to Cadeau. I mean, Cadeau right now is controlling things for the Heels in the half court. He leaves it for Harrison Ingram, right back to Cadeau. Back over to Ingram. Didn't take the three. Now he will, and strip the net from the left wing. Triple by Ingram, and it's 10-3. He got the shot, didn't take it, then decided to, and knocked it home. Jump shot taken and made on the other side by Florida State. I believe it was Darren Green. We were shielded off. It's a 3. 10-6 the score. As Cadeau penetrates in, out to Ingram. Open look for 3. That's good. Ingram back-to-back triples. There have been 4 threes, make it 5 threes. 3 by Carolina, 2 by Florida State already. The score at 13-6. Tar Heels by 7.
Love the pace right now.
It is up and down. Cadeau getting into the paint a bunch, setting up a lot of that Tar Heel offense. Florida State works it around the perimeter. Ends up on the left side or the left wing to Watkins. Up to Darren Green. Green is drifting. Three-pointer, no good, but easy rebound and putback by Deontay Green as he had gotten inside the Tar Heels and poked it back up and in. 13-8 the score as R.J. Davis has it in the front court for Carolina. Now middle of the floor to Harrison Ingram, who's already knocked in 2 threes for the Heels. Ingram on the right wing. Now he hands off to R.J. Davis. Baba Miller at 6'11", guarding R.J. Davis. Davis going to try a mile-long step-back 3. Count it. Holy smokes. That's 4 threes. 2 by Ingram, 2 by Davis. Carolina 5 of 9 from the floor, 4 of 6 from 3. It's 16-8, and an offensive foul called on Florida State for a moving screen. That'll send us to a timeout. Carolina is bringing in Trimble and Withers. The foul is called on Worley, and that's his second for FSU. So Carolina reining in some jump shots early, leading 16-8. 15:02 to go, first half in Tallahassee from Learfield. Tar Heels have started hot. 5 of 9 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line. That's aided them to a 16-8 early lead over Florida State. Those stats presented by Lenovo, smarter technology for all. And a reminder that we are brought to you in part by Food Lion, which is proud to sponsor the Score to Give More program. For each free throw the Heels make today, Food Lion Feeds will donate 100 meals to a local area food bank. So, Pete, Carolina has 14 points on its last 5 possessions. That aided by some three-point shooting. Harrison Ingram has knocked in 2. He had been just 4 of his last 15 from 3. R.J. Davis has shot the 3 well all year. He's made 2 as well. And Carolina up by 8 here early on.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more. Actually, you could. We missed a couple of gimmies really early, but the shots we're getting have been magnificent. But the driving, the penetration, the rebounding, all together, it's a great start offensively. Got to keep it up. It's going to be hard to maintain that pace.
Remember also that Florida State did foul before that timeout, and so it's the second on Worley. He will sit down as FSU brings in Taylor Bowen. He's into the game for the first time, a freshman from Jericho, Vermont. Originally, he was actually born in a refugee camp in Egypt and eventually made his way to the United States. He did not play in the game against Carolina in Chapel Hill. Other subs, Primo Spears is in as well for Florida State. Carolina has brought in Seth Trimble and Jalen Withers as Trimble drives, sends it over to R.J. Davis, takes a step-back 3, no good. Rebound tipped around to Florida State. It was Cadeau and Ryan who sat down for Carolina with Trimble and Withers coming in. So it's Davis, Trimble, Withers, Ingram, and Baycott out there for the Heels as Florida State works in the half court. Primo Spears dribbling on the right side, hounded by Trimble. Gets deep on the right, his pass back to the middle of the floor, tipped and turned over. Here come the Heels the other way. R.J. Davis sprinting front side on the left, has to weave his way through traffic. Oh, somehow ends up at the rim, hands it off to Withers, who can't finish over the challenge from the left side. I think R.J. Davis could have shot that from the right. Instead, he tried to pass it to Withers, who couldn't score, as meanwhile there is a foul on the other side. with Withers called for the foul against the driving Watkins. First foul on Withers and first on Carolina. Pete, the pace is aggressive right now.
Yeah, really impressive. I think Jalen was a little surprised by that pass. Usually he finishes those.
Also in for Florida State for the first time is Chandler. Well, Chandler Jackson no longer in. Excuse me. He had come in, but Watkins and Green still in there in the backcourt. It's Cam Corrin who has now come in for Florida State. The Noles like to rotate players in and out frequently as Bull Bowen has it at the free throw line. Sends it to Primo Spears. Shot clock is down to 2. Spears trying to dance by Armando Bacot. Has to force up a bad shot at the shot clock horn and only hit the backboard as Davis quickly gets it other way to Bacot with the long pitch ahead. Armando lays it in. He'll have a chance for 3.
That's a great rim run and great find.
So Bacot's first basket makes it 18-8, and now Florida State has taken a timeout with 13:29 to go. The foul on Florida State was called on Darren Green Jr., his first, 4th on FSU. So 2 on Worley, 1 on Baba Miller, 1 on Darren Green. Carolina's been called for 1 on Jalen Withers. Now each team has taken that use it or lose it timeout that you can't take with you to the second half. Carolina had to take it early when it could not get the ball in, and now Leonard Hamilton, just not liking what he's seeing, takes the timeout as well. Pete, what a nice pitch ahead there by R.J. Davis. You mentioned rim run. We've heard that a couple times here through the last couple of games. What do you mean when you say that with Armando Bacot?
Well, when you got a big guy who can run the court, you really want them to get down to the sprint to that rim as quick as they can, no matter what's going on anywhere else. And then the guards, if the guards are pushing the ball up the court, that's the first look always. And we got away from that. You know, the former analyst Tyler Zedler was great at that. That's kind of a Carolina thing, so it's good to see tonight.
Yeah, Bacot has done that a couple times. I mean, he's done that his whole career, but he's done that really well here recently. And nice pitch. I mean, that pass from R.J. Davis came from about the mid-court stripe to Bacot on the low left block, who caught it and went immediately up for the left-handed layup and foul. So he'll go to the line to try and complete the three-point play. Anytime you play Florida State, got to see if they sub during a dead ball, and it looks like they'll keep the same 5 on the floor, as will the Tar Heels, who have Davis, Trimble, Withers, Ingram, and Bacot out there, although Jalen Washington now will come to the scorers table for Carolina. As Bacot hits the free throw, presumably Washington will replace him. He will. So Washington, the sophomore from Gary, Indiana, will see his first action of the day. Armando Bacot gets a big high five and slap on the backside from Hubert Davis as he comes to the bench. Primo Spears, transfer from Georgetown, did not play in the first game against Carolina. Flips a pass, middle of the floor to Jameer Watkins. Cormac Ryan goes to the scorers table for the Heels. Watkins driving against Ingram, can't finish, right side. Withers with the rebound, the long pitch ahead to Trimble, who missed the finger roll. Trimble was way up in the air. I think he could have dunked it. Instead, he tried to lay it in, and he missed it. Meanwhile, Florida State airballs a transition 3 the other side. R.J. Davis tries to lob it to Withers. He can't finish. Here comes FSU the other way. Back and forth they go. Still an 11-point Tar Heel lead at 19-8. Florida State will try another jump shot. It's good from the corner. Jameer Watkins hits the corner 3. Carolina had 2 transition opportunities, particularly Trimble's was one that you just have to convert. Davis has it knocked away from behind. This is going to turn into an uncontested run out for Spears. Oh, he almost missed the layup, but gets it to roll in. Carolina just now able to get it in. Hubert Davis frustrated with his team's lack of cohesiveness on that sequence as FSU has quickly cut Carolina's lead from 11 to 6 on a 5-0 run. R.J. Davis well out on the right. Bounce pass right of the lane. It goes to Withers. Jab step, pulls up for the mid-range jumper. Too strong. Rebound caroms right in the hands of Jameer Watkins to Darren Green. Hesitation. Gets Withers on skates for a second, but he recovers. And now Florida State will set up in the half court as Cadeau and Ryan wait at the scorers table for Carolina. Big screen gets Spears to the free throw line. Can't hit the jumper. Rebound tip to Florida State, though, and put in by Bowen. Bowen, right place, right time. It's a 7-0 Florida State run. Carolina's lead is down to 4. Seth Trimble. Backdoor, Jalen Washington hammers it home right on top of the Seminoles.
Great find.
That was Carolin rotating over. Washington did not hesitate and threw it down with the right hand. That stops that run to make it 21-15. Tar Heels by 6. Florida State on the perimeter. Darren Green. Over to Watkins, to Carolin. Right back to Watkins, guarded by Ingram. Ingram picks his pocket. Ingram gonna head the other way. He'll attack and has his shot blocked at the rim. Carolina recovers, though, to R.J. Davis. Open three, no good. And a rebounding foul going to be called on Florida State. Boy, there have been some incredibly athletic plays by both sides here early on. That foul was called on Carolin, his first, 5th on FSU. Gracious. 10:54 to go first half. Carolina 21, Florida State 15. Heels have led by as many as 11 early on. Both these teams have come to play. Heels up 6, 10:54 to go first half from Learfield.
We're on the road with Honda dealers of the Carolinas. If you're a Tar Heel fan, don't just cheer for the best, drive the best. Drive a Honda. Better hurry, they're going fast. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today.
This has been an aggressive, fast-paced game thus far. Carolina 21, Florida State 15. 10:54 to play in the first half in Tallahassee. Carolina will have the ball after the rebounding foul was called on Cam Carolin of Florida State before the timeout. We're brought to you in part by Fairfield by Marriott, part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels and a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. And the Good Feet store. If you have foot, knee, hip, or back pain, Good Feet arch supports are engineered to support all 4 arches to provide pain relief, balance, and comfort. Try them for yourself. Book your free fitting today at goodfeet.com. And Pete, the athleticism on display, we've seen from both sides. Some dunks, some blocks, just running up and down the court. This has been a pretty wide-open game so far.
Yeah, love the pace, but I think their athleticism is proven difficult on some of those finishes. You got to be really strong, pretty much dunk it, or you're going to get it blocked. Love our shot selection. I love our defense, pretty much getting out and running, but got to be able to finish some of those. That's going to be important down the stretch.
All right, let's see who Carolina comes out of this huddle with. It's going to be Cadeau, Trimble, Ryan, Withers, Washington. So R.J. Davis heads to the bench for the first time. He has 6 points. He and Harrison Ingram each with 6 to lead the Tar Heels scoring. So you have 3 subs in Trimble, Withers, and Washington, and 2 starters in Cadeau and Ryan. As the 5 on the floor, Trimble has some trouble getting it in. Does in the corner to Jalen Washington. He tried to pass it to Withers, tipped away. Withers able to recover, though, and set up the offense, although the shot clock's down to 11. Cadeau, crossover, drives to the right elbow. Pitches out to Cormac Ryan, back to Cadeau. Shot clock down to 5. Cadeau tried to pass it in the corner, left to Trimble, and it was taken away by Bowen. Bowen, pitch ahead, is knocked free by Cormac Ryan, but Ryan stepped on the baseline as he took the pass out of the hands of Jalen Gainey, who's checked in for Florida State. Also, Chandler Jackson is in for the Seminoles. Now, Baycott will return. He'll replace Jalen Washington. Also, Josh Nickelberry is into the game for the first time for Florida State. So multiple subs coming in for the Seminoles as well. They traditionally play, both these teams play a lot of guys. Carolina 9 or 10, and Florida State 10 or 11. Carolina by 6. Florida State with the basketball. Step back long 2. Nice shot. Primo Spears. He had set Trimble in his face and was able to knock it home. Carolina's led by as many as 11. Florida State's cut it to 4 after making 4 of its last 5 shots. Cadeau gets the switch. The big man Gainey guarding him on the perimeter. Cadeau goes behind the back to get by him, and he's going to go to the free throw line as he was knocked down trying the layup left side. It was actually a foul on Chandler Jackson, who had rotated over. Foul on Jackson, his first, 6th on Florida State. And, Pete, we've seen that a couple times now. Cadeau, when he gets the matchup he likes, he's just going to go. Yeah,
I love his aggressiveness. I think it is our offense, once we get set a little bit, we're seen to be a little bit stagnant. Kind of got to figure out what we're going to try to do offensively once they slow us down, because we're not going to be able to get those breaks all the time.
2 free throws for Cadeau. 21-17. Now, that stays that way as the first free throw's too strong. That's Carolina's first miss.
Heels have been 3 of 3. Cadeau had made a pair, and Baycott had made his only attempt. Cadeau will get another shot. Baba Miller comes back in, and Taylor Bowen, will sit down for Florida State. Next one for Cadeau. That's good, so he goes 1 of 2. And it's 22-17. Heels by 5. Largest lead has been 11. That was at 19-8. When Carolina reined in 4 consecutive threes. There's a foul off the ball going to be called on Withers, and that's his second. So Carolina's only been called for 2 fouls, but they're both on Withers. And here comes Harrison Ingram quickly to the scorer's table. Marcus Page told Brad Frederick that was 2 fouls on Withers, and Coach Fred immediately got Ingram off the bench. So Withers has to sit with his 2 fouls. 9:55 to go in the first half. Florida State long pass out to the perimeter on the inbounds to Baba Miller, guarded by Cadeau. That's a huge size mismatch, as driving in and leaving it for Gainey was Miller. He just backed in Cadeau. Baycott came to help, and when he did, good pass by Miller to Gainey for the big dunk. 22-19. Both teams shooting well, but particularly Florida State. They are 8 of 16 from the floor, including 3 of 6 from 3. Cadeau out on the perimeter. Gets it to Ingram, left of the lane. Primo Spears on his backside. Ingram going to try and back in against him. Gracious, into heavy traffic in there, and he is tied up. And the arrow will turn over to Florida State.
Well, again, once they get set on defense, we're having a little trouble getting into something.
Here comes R.J. Davis. He will replace Seth Trimble. So Carolina will have its starting 5. Cadeau, Davis, Ryan, Ingram, and Baycott. So once it was 19-8, Florida State has outscored Carolina 11-3 since then. That's why this lead is down 2-3 at 22-19. Nickelberry works it around the perimeter, ends up to Primo Spears on the left side. Out to Baba Miller, hands off to Chandler Jackson. Shot clock down to 11 for Jackson as he weaves into traffic for Florida State over to Spears. His guarded 3 is short. Rebound tapped by Baba Miller, but into R.J. Davis's hands near the timeline. And the shot, Carolina thought it was a goaltend. Doesn't get it, but Cormac Ryan gets the rebound, bowls it out to Cadeau, who finds the pass down low to Baycott for the layup. Ryan on the floor just rolled it, literally, like he was bowling down the lane out to Cadeau around the three-point arc, who quickly passed it to Baycott for the bucket. 24-19. Hubert Davis still arguing the fact there was no goaltend there, as Baba Miller backing in against Harrison Ingram, turns around, can't score. Ingram with the rebound. Here comes Carolina. Heels the other way. Ingram takes heavy contact as the ball knocked out of his hands to Cormac Ryan. To R.J. Davis, whips it down to Baycott. He can't handle it. Recovers, flips it back to Davis for the floater. Gracious. I mean, this game back and forth every second. Their bodies flying all over the place. Carolina by 7. 26-19. Well, that's a travel as it was handed off to Chandler Jackson, who just took 3 steps with it. No whistle. Florida State works with it in the half court. Primo Spears, he's tough, drives baseline, kicks it out to Chandler Jackson. Straight on 3 is good. That's 4 threes now for Florida State. They average making 6 a game. Heels by 4. Cadeau the other way. Gets fouled at the rim again. Cadeau is going to have his 5th and 6th free throws. When we return, the foul was on Jalen Gainey, his 1st and 7th now on Florida State. So the Tar Heels are into the double bonus, into the bonus, but this will be 2 shots for Cadeau when action resumes, as he was fouled in the act of shooting. We need to catch our breath. You might need to, too. This commercial comes at a good time. 26-22, Carolina, 7:27 to go. First half in Tallahassee from Learfield. Elliot Cadeau will be at the free throw line for 2 shots. He's already taken 4 free throws today, made 3 of them. And he has 5 points to help lead the Tar Heels to a 4-point lead, 26-22. 7:27 to go in the first half. Basketball camps are back. Young men who will be in 6th or 7th grade during the 24-25 school year can apply for a scholarship through their local electric cooperative to attend the UNC basketball school this June. Apply online at ncelectriccooperatives.com/sportscamps. North Carolina's electric cooperatives, building a brighter future for people and communities across the Tar Heel State. Pete, we mentioned, so Cadeau, this will be his 5th and 6th free throw. He has both for himself created some offense and gotten to the line a bunch, and with him on the court, Carolina is 7 of 11 shooting. With Cadeau on the bench, the Heels are 2 of 9 from the floor.
Yeah, that's a really telling stat. You know, he's been out there obviously pushing the ball up the court, but in the half court, it's been really impressive how he's been going to the basket, taking the advantage of that kind of size mismatch he has in his favor. He's quicker than these guys, and he's getting to the basket and then making a great pass at the end. So that's not going to be there, hopefully. I mean, they're going to probably try to cut that off, but right now he's been taking advantage of it, and we got to make sure we keep that transition up too.
The Lenovo stats pretty even here. Carolina 9 of 20 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3. Florida State is 9 of 19 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3. Free throw line's been a difference. Carolina 4 of 5. Florida State has not taken one yet. Heels have a rebounding advantage, 13-7. Each team has turned it over 5 times already. Florida State, though, has 7 points off of Carolina's 5 turnovers as Cadeau makes the first free throw. So Cadeau had made 3 total free throws in his last 4 games, 3 of 8. He's 4 of 5 here in the first 12-plus minutes, now making really 5 of 6 in the first 12 and a half minutes of this game. And the lead is now 28-22 as Carolina going to try and pick up with some full-court pressure. Primo Spears, long pitch ahead to Watkins, but Cadeau recovers from behind, knocks the ball out of Watkins' hands over the baseline. It'll stay with Florida State. 25 on the shot clock, 7:22 on the first half game clock. Heels have their starting 5. Cadeau, Davis, Ryan, Ingram, Baycott is the 5 on the floor. Primo Spears triggers the inbounds. Gets it into Deontay Green. Can't finish as he drove from the right, tried to finish on the left. Baycott altered the shot. Heels with the defensive board. The other direction. Open 3 for Ingram. It was online, but a little strong. Primo Spears with the way up in the air for the aggressive rebound. He'll drive at Ryan other way, but Ryan forces him to pitch it back out to Green. That's Deontay Green. Now to Baba Miller. He'll bounce it to Watkins, trying to back in against Cadeau. Watkins, the size advantage, turns and scores, plus draws the foul. Foul is on Cadeau, his first. And Watkins will have a chance for the three-point play, and he can gut Carolina's lead down to 3 if he makes the free throw, which will be the first attempt of the afternoon for FSU.
It's a pretty big size advantage. I'd like to see him maybe dig that ball out, help him out a little bit. That's too many dribbles in the post against somebody with an advantage.
Yeah, we've seen Florida State's tried to back in against Cadeau and Davis here early on with the size advantage they have with their guards. Free throw is good by Watkins. And it's a 3-point play. It's a 3-point lead, 28-25. Again, Carolina led this game 19-8. Florida State has outscored the Heels 17-9 since then. Cadeau, well out on the right wing. Bounces in the right corner to Baycott. Baycott with Darren Green on his backside. Going to back in on him. In heavy traffic, turned it over as he tried to pitch it out. And then, Cadeau called for his second foul as he bumped into a Seminole in the open court. So we just told you how well Cadeau's been playing and how different the numbers are with him on the floor. He will have to sit with 6.5 to go as Trimble comes in for him. The problem there, though, Baycott got in all kinds of trouble once he got into the paint, and his pitch-out pass intercepted. Spears lobs a pass to Watkins, one-on-one with Ryan, straight on, still outside the arc. Ryan deep in a defensive crouch. Ball goes in the corner and turned over. No, a foul was called. It's on Ingram. Florida State tried to pass it into the left corner to Baba Miller. The ball went out of bounds, but the foul called on Ingram, his first, 5th on Carolina. 6:14 to go, first half. Heels up 3, but they've led by as many as 11. Inbounds goes to Spears. Trimble was right there on the catch. Spears gets it to Darren Green on the left baseline. Had it tipped out of his hands, was able to recover, sends it out to Miller. Missed the long 3. Rebound knocked out by the Tar Heels. Baycott and Ingram were fighting for the ball and knocked each other off of it. Deontay Green in the mix for Florida State. It'll stay with the Noles, a fresh 20 on the shot clock for them. 28-25 Carolina. It's been an intense game thus far. Inbounds to Baba Miller, now to Watkins. Tries to drive against Baycott, and he draws the foul. That's the first on Baycott, and that should be 2 shots. As in the act of shooting, Watkins will go to the stripe. He is the only Nole to take a free throw. He made it a moment ago, and he has been shooting very well. He's taken 56 free throws in the last 8 games, 103 on the season, second most in the ACC, and he's just under 79%. The first one takes a lap around the rim and crawls off back right. It remains 28-25, now 5:58 to go.
The last 6 minutes, I think, is pretty important to reestablish kind of what we want to do on offense. And remember, our defense has got to be what carries us.
Noles shooting 45% from the floor after the second free throw goes in to make it 28-26. Full court pressure from Florida State. Trimble having trouble, and it's going to be a 5-second violation.
Yeah, he could have run the baseline there.
Yeah, Trimble didn't run the baseline, even though he had the ability to do so after the made free throw. That is turnover number 7 for Carolina. And the inbound, it was just ripped out of the air. Spears tried a lob. It was taken away by Ingram, and it turns into a foul on the other side as Trimble is fouled in transition, elevating for the layup. Ingram just leapt up and just grabbed the ball out of midair before FSU could lob it up.
That was a great play by Harrison.
Foul is on Baba Miller. That's his second. So he becomes the second Seminole, along with Worley with 2 fouls. Cadeau has 2, as does Withers for Carolina. So 2 shots for Trimble, who knocks in the first. That's his first point of the day, and it's 29-26 with 5:54 to go. Also, credit to Carolina. I mean, that took 4 seconds for Ingram to get the steal and then Trimble to get fouled on the other side. Second free throw rolls out. Front iron, backboard, front iron again, and trickled off. 29-26. Carolina 7 of 9 from the free throw line. Florida State is 2 of 3. Heels by 3, driving in on the left. Spears can't finish. Great box out and rebound rip by Ingram. Here comes Carolina the other way with the 3-point lead. Ingram, left-handed dribble in the center jump serve. Hands off to Trimble on the left wing. Here comes Zayden High and Paxton Wojcik to the scorer's table for Carolina. Ball ends up to Cormac Ryan, misses the 3. Baycott in a fight for the rebound. Ends up out of bounds. Off, and now, whoa boy, Deontay Green and Baycott face to face with each other. Green is traditionally one to stir the pot. The ball, I think, belongs to Florida State. We got shielded off on what the official was ruling, and it is going to be Seminole basketball. So Wojcik and High come in. Ryan and Ingram sit down. So Carolina's gone pretty bench heavy here with 5:17 to go in the first half and a 3-point lead. They do have Davis out there with Trimble. Wojcik, High, and Baycott complete the 5 on the floor. Spinning to the rim, Watkins can't finish. There's High soaring in for the rebound. Here comes Carolina with the 3-point lead. R.J. Davis hit those 2 threes early, hadn't scored since. He can't get by Nickelberry, who's letting him hear about it. And a foul off the ball on Deontay Green for holding Baycott in the post. Foul on Green, his first. That's now 9 fouls on Florida State, so this will be a 1-and-1 for Baycott as this game continues to ratchet up.
Yeah, he's chirping, and the refs aren't even there to see any of that.
29-26 Carolina with 4:54 to go. Yeah, Green, Deontay Green, sophomore from Asheville, he is known to be chatty. 1-and-1 for Baycott. Short. So the Tar Heels have missed their last 2 free throws. Darren Green Jr. the other way. Never passed it and hits the fall away. It's a 1-point Carolina lead, 29-28.
R.J. Davis comes front side on the left. Passes up high, too high. Down low to Baycott. Knocked away, and Florida State with the hustle play to keep the basketball. Noles can take the lead. Primo Spears will try and do it with a three. Got it. So Florida State has erased the 11-point Tar Heel lead. Carolina does not have a field goal in nearly 4 minutes. R.J. Davis quickly changes that with the two. It's 31-31 as Davis hits the right elbow jumper. Florida State is pumped right now. Can Carolina withstand the push? Under 4 to go first half. Nickelberry guarded by Paxton Wojcik. Out in the center jump circle. Passes over on the right to Primo Spears. Checked by Trimble. Spears backs up to the sideline. Gets a screen. Drives and sends it out to Watkins. Watkins against the freshman height. And that's going to be a travel as Watkins went up with the ball, lost it a bit, came down with the ball, and that'll be a turnover. Possession belongs to Carolina. Hyde did a nice job. He faked as though he was going to challenge the shot and kind of backed off. And when he did that, it forced the miscue by Watkins. He was confused as to what to do with the ball. Game tied at 31. 3:38 to go in the first half. Heels will have it after this from Learfield. North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard reads 31-31. Tar Heels and Seminoles all tied up. Carolina led 19-8 at one point. FSU has outscored the Heels 23-12 since. That Farm Bureau scoreboard brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what they do best. Our game brought to you in part by Allen Tate Realtors. Whether you're buying, selling, relocating, or seeking financing or insurance, Allen Tate can help. Allen Tate Realtors, the #1 realtor in the Carolinas with more than 70 local offices and a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Pete, this has been a physical game, a fast game, an athletic game, and we're all tied up at 31 with 3:38 to go first half.
Yeah, we had a really great start, obviously, to the game, hitting no shots. I think maybe gave us a little false sense of how it was going to be once they settled in and started getting some stops. We've had a little trouble. They got some momentum, and we had a little trouble kind of ebbing that momentum and maintaining what we wanted to do on our side of the court. They're getting some open shots on their side. It's kind of balanced out, but the home court is powerful. So we got to make sure we take care of our business on the rebounding, getting some better shots, making some better decisions, and then being strong defensively. We've built our streak here based on our defensive rebounding. We got to get back to that.
Yeah, turnovers have been an issue. Carolina has 8 of them. Florida State has 11 of its 31 points off of the 8 Carolina turnovers. The Tar Heels only average 10.4 turnovers a game. That would be a low in Tar Heel history, as Wojcik has to take another timeout trying to get the ball in. So Carolina's going to only have 2 timeouts left for the rest of the game. They've had to twice take a timeout on the inbound and once took a 5-second violation. Hubert Davis is smoking angry in the huddle right now, furious that his team has continued to make the same mistake in this scenario. Boy, oh boy, Coach Davis as hot as we've seen him in a while. Frustrated that his team has had to take 2 timeouts in a close game. I mean, we still have 3:38 to go in the first half. Heels will come out with this unique 5 of Davis, Trimble, Wojcik, High, Baycott. It'll be Wojcik again to throw it in. And gets it into R.J. Davis. Hubert Davis yells, "It worked," to his team, and a little bit of frustration. All right, game tied at 31. R.J. Davis, the drive and dish. Zayden High got the layup, but he stepped on the baseline. It was a really nice play as Davis got it to High, cutting down the baseline, but right underneath the basket. High went up and under and scored, but stepped on the baseline first. So it'll be Florida State ball, 31-31. Trimble works around a high screen to try and stay with Spears as he kicks it to Watkins for 3. Florida State has made as many threes in the half as they traditionally make in a game. They are 6 of 11 from 3. Wojcik gets it into R.J. Davis. fighting through bumper cars to get front side and ends up losing the ball over the baseline. That is turnover number 10 for Carolina. Ingram in, high, out. 34-31 Florida State. Noles are 13 of 27 from the field. Most importantly, though, 6 of 11 from three. They made 12 in Chapel Hill, tied for the most that they'd made in any game this season. They are the 11th best three-point shooting team in the conference. They're going to try another and make another. Spears. That's 7 threes for Florida State. And now a 6-point lead, 37-31. Noles shooting 50% from the floor and 58% from three. Trimble, crossover and drive, and he's fouled.
Yeah, their pressure is obviously bothering us on the full court, bringing the ball up the court. Also in the half court, we got to find a way to kind of calm down a little bit, get better shots, better possessions.
That foul was on Watkins, his first, but 10th on FSU, so it's 2 shots for Carolina. It's a 6-0 run for Florida State to lead by 6. So you look at the three-point shooting. Watkins 2 of 2, Spears 2 of 3, Jackson has 1, Green has 1, Miller has 1 for the Seminoles. Tar Heels made 4 early, but have not made 1 since. They are 4 of 10, including missing their last 4 from behind the arc. Trimble spins in the free throw to stop that 6-0 run and make it 37-32 Florida State. Again, Carolina led this game 19-8. And it has been all FSU since. Trimble makes both free throws. That will prompt a sub as Ryan will get Trimble. Carolina has Davis, Ryan, Wojcik, Ingram, and Baycott as the 5 on the floor. Cadeau on the bench with 2 fouls. He had been impactful as Ingram picks the pocket of Watkins. He'll wait and slow down, wait for teammates to catch up. Ingram has it again. Drives right of the lane, had the ball tipped away, and ends up out of bounds off Ingram. So the 11th turnover. Carolina has more turnovers this half than it averages in a game. So you're looking at Carolina more turnovers this half than it has in a game traditionally, and Florida State has made more threes than it has in a game traditionally in this half. Those two things have combined to the Noles leading 37-33. 17 points off turnovers for Florida State.
And we both talked about that, controlling that ball, being strong with it.
Taylor Bowen coming in. He needs a moment to tie his shoe. 2:09 to go in the half. The turnovers for Carolina. Davis has 3 of them. Baycott 2. Ingram 2. High has 2. Cadeau and Trimble each with 1. So it's been a lot of different Tar Heels that have struggled as a jump shot missed by Florida State. The rebound, though, tipped to Bowen, and he scores. That's twice that Bowen has been right place, right time on an offensive rebound and putback. 39-33. Bowen's length guarding R.J. Davis out on the perimeter. Davis with the crossover. Going to pull up for the open 3. Short. Ingram way up in the air for the board. His stick back won't go. Ingram gets it back again. He's stripped. Loose ball to Baycott. His hook shot. That crawls off. Now it's Wojcik with the rebound, and finally he scores. Carolina just wouldn't quit on the offensive glass. 39-35. Florida State has made 5 of its last 6 and is shooting 50% from the floor. They lead it by 4. 39-35. Chandler Jackson, guarded by Wojcik, tries to spin by him. Uses his forearm to get space and hits the jump shot. Carolina bench wanted an offensive foul. Didn't get it. 41-35. Noles led by 6 at halftime in Chapel Hill. They lead by 6 here in the final minute of the half. Ryan drives in, and he's fouled as he goes into the paint. You got to be a brave man to drive in right now. The foul on Jackson is second. So he has 2. Worley has 2. Baba Miller has 2. Talking about fouls for FSU. Watkins, Corin, Green, the other Green, and Gainey all have 1. As now it'll be Ryan to the stripe looking for his first points of the afternoon. .49.5 seconds to go first half. 41-35 Florida State. 41-36 as Ryan gets it to crawl over the front iron.
Nickelberry and Watkins come in. Bowen will sit down for Florida State, as did Jackson, I believe. Second free throw, no good by Ryan. That is just his 5th miss this year. He's now 47 of 52. 41-36, Florida State by 5. After the Tar Heels led 19-8. Nickelberry almost slipped and fell, but kept his dribble and his feet. Over to Primo Spears. Now to Nickelberry. Long guarded 2 off the mark. Ryan with the rebound. Tar Heels will hold for 1 shot, I believe. They don't want to take a timeout. They've already taken 2 this half. So Florida State going to lead at the break. Can Carolina score to cut into this 5-point deficit? R.J. Davis one-on-one with Darren Green right now. 9 on the clock. Gets a screen from Baycott. Weaves through traffic. Gets to the cup. Missed the layup, though. Rebound out of bounds off Florida State. 2.5 seconds to go. R.J. Davis, rarely see him miss that one, as he had gotten to the rim but couldn't finish. Wojcik will be the man to throw it in. Taylor Bowen will return. Nickelberry. Well, somebody sat down for Florida State. Anyway, Wojcik in baseline left. Tries to lob. It was there, but Ingram jumped too early. And Florida State is going to take a 5-point lead into the locker room. Ingram had leapt a little too early, so he was already on the way down when the ball got to him. He could do nothing but tip it, and that finishes off the clock. I'll conclude the Wells Fargo halftime show, brought to you by Wells Fargo, official sponsor of Carolina Athletics. And let's get to the trusted choice of the game, brought to you by the Trusted Choice Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina, who want you to stay safe when you are driving. Great way to do that is put down your phone. So let's have a hands-free NC. To learn more and find an agent near you, visit trustedchoice.com/GoHeels. Pete Chilcutt, former All-ACC forward, joining me, Jones Angel. Pete, what in your mind will be important for the Heels to get out of here with a win in the second half?
Well, I think that pressure got to us in the first half. We got to continue what my first goal was, limit those live ball turnovers, keep them way down in the second half. So,
again, Florida State had more threes made, 7, than it has traditionally in a game, which is 6 in the first half. Heels had more turnovers, 12, than they normally do in a game, which is 10. And Florida State had 19 points off those turnovers. That ties for the most against Carolina in an entire game this season. Kentucky had 19 when the Heels had a season-high 17 turnovers in that game. Feels like having Cadeau on the floor will be important. He was so good early, but picked up 2 fouls. And some of the Tar Heel troubles as far as controlling the ball came with him on the bench. He makes the pass to Cormac Ryan. Open look for 3, no good. Rebound knocked out of the hands of Baycott over the baseline by Florida State. It'll stay with Carolina. Ryan slaps his hands together. That was a great look from right in front of the Carolina bench. It just didn't go. Ryan is now 0 for 3 with all 3 of his attempts being 3-pointers. Heels just need some of those to go in for sure. That was a good play. Inbounds lobbed into Ryan. Carolina going left to right as we see it here courtside in the second half. As R.J. Davis has it now to Cadeau on the right wing. Cadeau against Worley, who didn't play much in that first half due to fouls. Cadeau goes right at him and banks it in. Well, Cadeau has been huge. He has 9, and it's 41-38. Heels back within 3. Florida State led by 5 at halftime. Watkins spinning in to Deontay Green at the left elbow. He'll hand off to Darren Green Jr. His mid-range jumper rattles in from the left side. Got free from R.J. Davis. Darren Green Jr. quietly has 7. 2 Seminoles in double figures in the first half. Watkins and Spears with 10 apiece. R.J. Davis leading the Tar Heels scoring with 10. Right now it's Cadeau with the basketball. Wanted to go backdoor, wasn't there. Crosses over against Deontay Green, and he's stripped. And then Green shoves Cadeau in the backcourt. Meanwhile, Florida State's going to get an open look for 3 and knock it in. Darren Green Jr. now up to 10. He adds all 5 of Florida State's points this half. It's an 8-point Florida State lead. Florida State now with 8 made 3-pointers. Ingram backing in left of the lane. Pitches out to Ryan. Tries to answer the 3 and does.
Good shot right there. Good find.
That started on the inside with Ingram passing out to Ryan for his first bucket. And Carolina back within 5 at 46-41. Watkins on the left wing, trying to work around a screen from Deontay Green. Backs out after penetrating in a bit. Now to Worley. His driving hook shot is good. Started in the left corner, came down the baseline, and hooked it over Cadeau. First bucket for Worley. It's a 7-point Florida State lead. R.J. Davis changes that with a quick jumper from the free throw line the other side. 48-43. Florida State with the 5-point lead. Each team scored 7 points this half. Another 3 from FSU, no good, and it's going to be a rebounding foul as Baba Miller went over the back of Harrison Ingram. Foul on Miller, his third. He becomes the first player for either team with 3.
Yeah, we need to string together a couple stops, get back to that momentum on defense.
Yeah, Carolina has been so good defensively, of course, as we know, but Florida State shooting 53% this game. 19 of 36, 8 of 14 from 3. They have made some shots. 48-43 FSU. R.J. Davis takes a look at Hubert Davis as he comes front side. Baba Miller checked out with his 3 fouls. Bowen, who had a couple of offensive rebound and stickbacks in the first half, comes in for Florida State. R.J. Davis is fouled on the drive. He made the basket, but the foul's going to be called on the floor by Matt Potter. A call against Darren Green Jr., his second on FSU. Florida State accruing fouls. That's 5 Seminoles now with 2 or more personal fouls. Cormac Ryan quickly inbounds right in front of us to Elliot Cadeau. 48-43. Florida State with the 5-point lead. Carolina with the ball. Cadeau out to Ryan. Just made a 3. Now he's made 2. Catch and shoot from the right wing. It's a 2-point game. 48-46. Worley. Hands up. Boy, a really tough shot by Darren Green Jr. No good in the corner. Carolina running to try and tie it. R.J. Davis to the cup for the finger roll. He took a big spill afterwards. He's up and okay. Game tied at 48.
Starts with the defense. That's a good stop.
Worley the other way for Florida State. Hands off to Watkins. Watkins around a screen, gets to the elbow, goes in the right corner with the pass to Bowen. Nothing there. He'll reset. 14 on the shot clock for Florida State. Watkins again crawling around the screen to get right of the lane, and he's fouled. Fouls on Cormac Ryan. I believe it was on the shot.
On the pass, they said.
Oh, on the pass, okay. So it will be an inbound for FSU. Game tied at 48. Cormac Ryan, a couple of threes have helped the Tar Heels to a 7-0 spurt to knot things up at 48. Carolina's made its last 5 shots. They're 5 of 6 this half. Florida State's 3 of 5. Inbounds goes to Worley. Guarded by Cadeau. Drives left to the lane. Tough pull-up is good. Worley's hit a couple of buckets. Florida State back up by 2. Cadeau through traffic is fouled as he gets all the way into the charge circle underneath Carolina's basket. Foul is on Worley. That's his 3rd. This cat and mouse game with Worley and Cadeau. Worley clearly feels like his size at 6'7" an advantage. Cadeau has used its speed to get by him several times. 3rd foul on Worley. He becomes the 2nd Seminole, along with Baba Miller with 3. Knowles up 2, 50-48. Carolina with the ball. They give R.J. Davis space, misses the 3. Rebound tipped into Ingram's hands, though. In heavy traffic, got to get out of there. Still has the ball. Sends it to Cadeau out on the right wing to reset. Cadeau drives in, pitches left corner to Ingram. Pump fake for 3, and he was just grabbed by Bowen. I mean, when Bowen bit on the pump, he just came down and just bear hugged Ingram. That's going to be the first on Bowen. Already the 4th, Pete, on Florida State this half.
Extremely physical out there. Extremely physical. They're letting us play a little bit.
16:05 to go as Spears, after a good first half, checks in for Worley with the 3 fouls. Remember, this is an offensive rebound possession here for Carolina, so it's a second chance opportunity. Heels have done a good job in that regard in this game. Shot clock, though, down to 5. Ingram's going to have a clean look at 3, knocks it in for the lead. His 3rd field goal. They've all been 3s, and it's 51-50. Heels have made 3 threes this half. They made 4 early in the first half and then didn't make another. Carolina up 51-50. Ingram was the man who got that offensive rebound, kept the possession going, drew the foul, and eventually hits the three. Darren Green Jr. pull up around a screen. Nothing but net on the long two. Boy, he is such a good jump shooter as Carolina the other way, and a foul called. R.J. Davis got deep into the paint. That foul is going to be called on Watkins, and that's his second, and already the fifth on Florida State. Going to have to wait and see if it was on the floor or in the act of shooting. I'm not sure if Lee Cassell called that a shooting foul or not. Either way, it will be Carolina's ball when we return. 15-18 to play. Florida State 52, Carolina 51 from Learfield. Carolina was down 5 at halftime, but has come back to briefly take the lead, currently down 1, 52-51. That halftime score was 41-36, Florida State. We're into half number 2, 15-18 to go. Heels down a point. And we're brought to you in part by Modelo, an official beer of the Tar Heels. And don't forget, after the game, we'll have our Old Dominion Freight Line Best in the Game feature. That's our player of the game. Old Dominion Freight Line works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support those striving to be the best in theirs. Let's take a look at some Lenovo stats here, brought to you by Lenovo, a global technology leader that has called North Carolina home since 2005. Visit Lenovo.com. Lenovo, smarter technology for all. Both teams shooting really well this half. Carolina 6 of 8, including 3 of 5 from 3. Florida State is 5 of 7, 1 of 3 from 3. The Noles are shooting 54% for the game, 21 of 39, including 8 of 15 from 3. Carolina's creeping up towards 50%, 17 of 36, 47%, 7 of 16 from 3. The Heels do have a big advantage at the free throw line, where they are 10 of 14. Florida State is 2 of 3. I believe the foul before the timeout was called on the floor, and so Carolina will just be inbounding. Remember, Davis took a bump as he drove in by Watkins. Watkins' second foul. Pete, Carolina down by 1, 15-18 to go.
Yeah, I like the way we started the second half. It is a man's game out there as far as getting in the paint and rebounding and defense. They're hitting tough shots. They're in a rhythm. We've got to be able to string together some of those stops on defense, take care of the ball. We've done a good job so far in the second half of doing that, but this is going to be a dogfight.
Carolina has not subbed. Meanwhile, Jalen Gainey, the 6'10 graduate transfer from Brown, has checked in. Long inbound's going to go into the backcourt where Cormac Ryan can go to get it. Primo Spears trying to bother him. Ryan gets it across the timeline. Now hands off to the freshman Cadeau to set up the offense. Heels down a point, 52-51. Cadeau dribbling out near the timeline. Oh, he gets Bull Bowen on skates, gets to the rim, lays it in. He'll have a chance for 3.
Yeah, he recognized that, cleared out that side. That was amazing, smart play.
Bull Bowen was fumbling and bumbling, trying to guard Cadeau as he gave him a crossover. Cadeau saw the opening and attacked. Second foul on Bowen. 6th on Florida State this half. Cadeau's free throw is good. He now has 12. This comes after an ACC freshman season high 14 against Wake Forest. It's now 54-52, 5 minutes into the second half. Florida State the other way. Watkins. Guarded by Cadeau. Cadeau's got to be careful with 2 fouls, and Watkins going to be called for the offensive foul as Cadeau was right in his shirt, and Watkins extended the forearm. That's his 3rd foul, and that is already 7 on Florida State. Wow. Carolina hadn't been called for a foul this half. Carolina's been called for 1 foul this half. Florida State has been called for 7 thus far. Jalen Withers checks in. Harrison Ingram is going to get a breather for Carolina. 54-52. R.J. Davis brings it front side against Watkins, who's now playing with 3 fouls. Davis on the perimeter. Splits a double team. Gets deep. Pushes it up and in. R.J. Davis starting to work some magic. He has 16. 56-52. Watkins for FSU. Hands off to Green. He's been hot and tough. Fall away jumper, no good. Withers way up in the air for the rebound. He'll give it to Cadeau. Carolina trying to run. Cadeau kicks it in the corner left to Ryan. Couldn't catch it cleanly. Heel's going to reset. Cadeau gets a screen from Baycott. A switch has Gainey guarding him. Cadeau likes that matchup.
Drives by him. Cadeau again to the rim. Give him 2 more. The freshman at will to the cup. 58-52. I think Florida State may want it well. Leonard Hamilton was going to call a timeout. Now he doesn't. FSU has the ball. And taken away on the sideline. Woo, Cormac Ryan called for the foul. He broke up a dribble handoff on the right sideline, but he is called for his second foul. And second on Carolina this half. Cadeau is now up to 7 this half and ties his ACC freshman season high with 14. His season high in total is 15 points here as a rookie. Bo Bowen on the perimeter. Has to send it out near the timeline to Darren Green Jr. Shot clock down to 7 for Florida State. And the Seminoles are going to take that timeout that Leonard Hamilton was thinking about earlier in the possession. This will stretch to a full, as it's the first called timeout of the second half. Carolina on a 7-0 spurt. Now leads it by 6, 58-52, 13:35 to go. We'll take a break. Noles will have the ball and 5 on the shot clock when we return from Learfield.
We're on the road with Honda dealers of the Carolinas. If you're a Tar Heel fan, don't just cheer for the best, drive the best. Drive a Honda. Better hurry, they're going fast. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today.
58-52. Carolina on a 7-0 run, leads by 6 with 13:35 to go. Florida State will have the ball with 5 on the shot clock when action resumes. For more than 25 years, Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery has been a pre- and post-game tradition in Chapel Hill. Handcrafted beer, great food and atmosphere. It's where Tar Heels come to celebrate. Pete, we've seen it with our eyes, and hopefully people understand. Cadeau and Davis controlling the action right now. They are a combined 6 of 7 from the floor, 13 points, 2 assists. They have scored or assisted on, talking about R.J. Davis and Cadeau, 8 of Carolina's 9 field goals this half.
It's been impressive. We talked about maybe a little bit of lack of Baycott posting up. There's just no opportunities. It seems like everything is kind of off the go and getting mismatches and attacking them. It's been impressive to start the second half.
58-52 Heels, 13:35 to go. Again, Florida State will be inbounding, but with 5 on the shot clock. So they'll have to get moving quickly here on this possession. Tar Heels led by 11 early. Florida State made a impressive run over the last 10-plus minutes of the first half, led by 5 at halftime. Carolina has outscored the Noles 22-11 in the first 6.5 minutes of this half. Still a long way to go. 13:35 to play. Inbounds goes to Baba Miller out near the timeline. Shot clock down to 3 as Miller drives on R.J. Davis, who had gotten caught up on a switch. And Davis really didn't have much of a chance but to foul him. Davis, his first foul. R.J. listed at 6 feet. Baba Miller is listed at 6'11". Interesting story by Miller. He was only 6'2" when he was 14 years old, then hit a big growth spurt. And now at 6'11", but still possesses a lot of those skills that he gained earlier in life when he was shorter.
So he's about your size.
Yeah, just a hair shorter than me. And first free throw, no good. Baba Miller, a 52% free throw shooter on the season. Carolina has taken 15 free throws. This is just the 5th coming up for Florida State. Although the Noles, this will be the 2nd they've taken this half. Carolina's taken just 1 here in the second half, even though there have been 7 fouls called on Florida State this half. So the Heels are in the bonus. Second one for Baba Miller is off the iron, no. Missed them both. Baycott with a good box out of Primo Spears rips down the board. So it remains 58-52 Carolina. Trimble coming to the scorer's table for the Heels. Cadeau, who's been a dominant factor here this half, guarded by Deontay Green. Long cross-court pass to the right side to Withers, right back to Cadeau. Pump fake for 3, gets Deontay Green into the air. Cadeau drives and draws the foul. Boy, that was brain cramp there by Deontay Green as he almost did a jumping jack in the air on Cadeau's pump fake. And then on the drive, Deontay Green picks up his second foul. That's the 8th on Florida State. This will be 2 shots for Cadeau. Cadeau, this will be his 8th and 9th free throw of the game, and he makes the first. On the season, Cadeau, as Ryan will be replaced by Trimble, on the season, Cadeau had taken 54 free throws. And now he's 8 of 9 today as he makes both of those. It's a 9-0 Tar Heel run. And it's 60-52 as Jalen Washington comes to the scorer's table for Carolina to check in next opportunity. So Cadeau, Davis, Trimble, Withers, and Baycott, the 5 on the floor right now for Carolina. Pull up, long 2 is off the iron. No good, but an offensive rebound by Deontay Green. Shot was missed by Spears. And then Deontay Green is fouled. Fouls on Baycott as he and Green were banging in the post. Second on Baycott. Fourth on Carolina. Foul is going to be called on the floor, even though Deontay Green is arguing that it should be a shooting opportunity. Baycott will come out. Jalen Washington, who we told you went to the table, replaces him. 12:48 to go. Carolina by 8, 60-52 in the midst of a 9-0 run. Primo Spears inbound, taken away by Cadeau, and he tried to save it behind his back. Lee Cassell saying he landed on the sideline before he saved it back into play. Cadeau arguing that he saved it before he landed on the ground. Ingram's going to use the opportunity to check in. He will get Cadeau. So Cadeau has been perhaps the dominant factor in this half, but he's going to try and sneak an extra breather right before the next dead ball under 12 will be a full timeout as Primo Spears, a wild circus shot, no good. Deontay Green got the rebound, but he hung on the rim to do so. So that's going to give the ball to Carolina.
That was a wild shot. Again, forcing some bad shots.
Deontay Green jumped in. Well, now Lee Cassell is calling the officials together. Green jumped in, hung on the rim to get the rebound. And that's going to be a technical foul on Deontay Green.
Even better.
Lee Cassell is about 5 or 6 seats over to our left, who he's speaking with. So Lee Cassell explaining to Hubert Davis that it's a technical foul on Deontay Green. Carolina's going to get a free throw, but then the possession goes to the arrow, and so Florida State will get the ball per Lee Cassell because of the arrow belonging to the Seminoles as R.J. Davis makes the free throw. So it's just a one-shot technical on Green. Hubert Davis is arguing the point, but so Florida State's going to get the ball due to the possession arrow on the technical foul. Davis does hit the free throw to make it 61-52. So the Noles will have it. It's a 10-0 Tar Heel run. 14th time in 20 games as Florida State can't finish the alley-oop on the inbounds. The loose ball knocked out of bounds off Jalen Washington. I was going to tell you the 14th time in 20 games that Carolina's had a run of 10-0 or better. This has given them a 9-point lead, 61-52. Florida State trying again. A running dunk attempt by Watkins. It bounces off the back iron, caroms all the way into the backcourt. Florida State will try again. It's been a lengthy possession for the Noles. Watkins going to drive baseline right, leaves it for Corin. He can't finish, but tips it up and in. Florida State ended up with felt like 5 or 6 opportunities on that lengthy sequence. And eventually they stopped the 10-0 run by Corin's tip-in. 61-54, Carolina by 7. R.J. Davis out on the perimeter. Switch has Corin guarding him. 15 on the shot clock. Davis, hesitation. Drive, and he's stripped by Corin. And then a foul called on Carolina before Florida State can get out and run the other way. Foul is on R.J. Davis, his second, and 5th on Carolina. So that will stop the action and send us to the under 12-minute timeout. Just quickly an update on fouls for Florida State. Worley, Watkins, and Miller all have 3. Jackson, Deontay Green, Darren Green all have 2 for Carolina. Cadeau, Ryan, Davis, Baycott, and Withers all with 2. 61-54 Carolina, but it'll be Florida State's ball after this. 11:55 to go from Learfield. 11 minutes, 55 seconds to go. Carolina 61, Florida State 54. The Noles led by 5 at halftime, but Carolina shot 9 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 4 of 4 at the free throw line this half to take the lead. They've led by as many in this half of 9, currently up 7, 61-54, 11:55 to go. It's a new season at Kohl's with everyday styles at great prices. You can get more of what you want for less. Find go-tos for going everywhere and perfect picks for your home. Shop Kohl's and Kohl's.com today. That's KOHLS.com. Pete, Carolina continues to score efficiently this half. Heels have points on 11 of their last 13 possessions. The two they don't is turnovers, and that's continued to be the biggest issue. 14 turnovers in the game for Carolina. The Heels had 12 in the first half of this game, and Florida State has made that pay off for 22 points off those turnovers.
Yeah, that's been a huge battle to fight against, but the second half a little bit better, efficient on the offense, like you mentioned. If we can continue now, I think we're still going to need to get Harrison and Armando involved a little bit more, but the guards have been doing great at getting really, really great shots, attacking the rim. Davis
and Cadeau have a combined 33, 17 for R.J. Davis, a career-high 16 for Elliot Cadeau. Cadeau's previous high had been 15 against Northern Iowa in that game in the Bahamas earlier this season, and Cadeau is back in. So he had come out with 12:45 to go, and that felt like the Heels just trying to get to the under 12-minute timeout to give the freshman a little extra breather. He's back in along with Davis, Trimble, Ingram, and Jalen Washington. Cadeau and Davis have been the dominant factors, though, for the Heels, particularly in this half. Driving is Primo Spears. Jump stop in the paint, lost the basketball, gets it back, and he's tied up. Possession arrow will belong to Carolina. It is, the Lee Cassell is now coming to the scorers table because the reason Florida State got the ball during the technical foul was that the arrow had belonged to the Seminoles, so it should now, but it wasn't changed on the scorers table. It has now been changed to the scorers table to Carolina, so the Tar Heels will have it, and now it will flip back over to the Noles once Carolina gets it in, which they do. So some possession arrow drama along with all the other drama today. A switch has Corin guarding Cadeau. Cadeau pitches in the right corner to Ingram. Pump fake and drive. Ingram is hacked at the rim. And if that's on Watkins, that's 4. It is. Florida State's leading scorer, averaging 14 points per game, who has 10 tonight or this afternoon, now has 4 fouls. And Ingram will go to the line for 2 shots. Boy, that lane opened up. It looked like Ingram was going to have a massive dunk attempt. Instead, Watkins came over. The Florida State fans don't agree after seeing the replay. And it will put Ingram to the line for 2 shots. 11:26 to go. Heels up 61-54. Ingram gets the spin on the free throw. Florida State will bring in Worley, who has 3 fouls, for Watkins, who has 4. Baba Miller also on the court for Florida State with 3 fouls. The free throw makes it 62-54. Carolina. Ingram into double figures. Got them both. Ingram's up to 11. He has another double-double, his 3rd consecutive and 6th this year. He's at 11 points, 12 boards. One of 3 Tar Heels in double figures. Carolina by 9, 63-54. Florida State with the ball. Primo Spears well out on the right wing. Dumps it off to Corin. He'll go over to Baba Miller on the left, and a reach-in foul called on Ingram. 2nd on Ingram. That's now 6 on Carolina this half. Cormac Ryan will check in, give R.J. Davis a breather. 11:09 to go. There have now been 15 fouls called in this second half. Still 11:09 to play. Heels up 63-54. Carolina's already in the double bonus the rest of the way. Florida State's in the bonus. Spears around a double screen. Gets to the right of the lane. Kicks it down the baseline right to Worley. Penetrates in. Is turning hook shot no good. Jalen Washington rips down the rebound for Carolina. Long pitch ahead from Cadeau. Was trying to get it to Trimble. Baba Miller able to knock it out of bounds into the Tar Heel bench area. 10:53 to play. All the Tar Heel assistants had fired up, particularly Sean May and Brad Frederick had something to say to the team as they were setting things up. Inbounds goes to Cadeau. Dribbling in the center, jump circle. Spears guarding him in a deep crouch with his arms out to either side. Cadeau drives to the left wing. Shot clock down to 12. Now over to Ingram, right back to the freshman. Shot clock down to 9. Cadeau gets a screen in the switch. Cadeau drives against Miller to the cup. Heavy contact, no whistle. And the ball gets knocked out of bounds off Ingram, trying to get the rebound. Ingram's shot was blocked partially by Baba Miller as he took the hit, trying to lay it in. 63-54. A lot of Carolina's offense this half has been that. Cadeau getting a switch and a drive, and it has worked out. Darren Green around a screen. Long two, no good. Great box out by Ingram to get the rebound. He'll wait for traffic to clear, get it to Elliott Cadeau. Right back to Ingram in the front court. Quickly in the right corner, passes to Cormac Ryan. Jab, step, and drive. Ryan drives all the way through the lane. Bounces in the left corner to Trimble. Trimble pulls up in the mid-range, too strong. Washington battles for the rebound, but it belongs to Baba Miller in Florida State. Here come the Noles the other way. They'll pitch it ahead. Ingram breaks up the pass to Corrin. Can't quite get to the ball before it goes over the baseline, though. It'll belong to Florida State as Baycott will come in for Carolina. 9:52 to go. He'll get Jalen Washington. 24 on the shot clock for the Noles.
We're in a good stretch of getting stopped right here. This is what's building that lead a little bit. Continue this.
Florida State hadn't scored for more than 2 minutes as Cadeau gets the steal. Oh, my goodness. He got the steal on the inbounds, but is called for the foul.
Oh, boy.
He jumped over the top of the Seminoles and got the steal. Woo. And that is the third on Cadeau. He becomes the first Tar Heel with 3, and he has been a huge part of the Tar Heels' success this afternoon. It'll put Darren Green Jr., a 69% shooter, to the line for a 1-and-1. And he missed it. Thank you, Rasheed Wallace. That ball doesn't lie.
Ball don't lie.
Cadeau, long pitch ahead to Ryan. Had the ball ripped away. He's able to save it to Baycott. Has it blocked from behind. Ends up to Ryan, and Carolina will dribble out and reset. Ryan has it on the left sideline. Crossover against Corrin. Gets to the ACC logo. Has to circle back out. Shot clock down to 10 as Cadeau has it now. 63-54. Carolina by 9. Cadeau to Ryan. Shot clock's down to 2. He's going to have to shoot it. He does right before the horn. It's no good. Rebound to Florida State. Carolina just could not quite get organized the way that it wanted on that possession. Spears the other side for FSU with 9:08 to go. Still 63-54 Carolina. Baba Miller backing in against Cormac Ryan. Continues to extend the forearm. Dishes off to Worley. Misses the layup. Loose ball rebound tipped and brought in by Trimble. Here comes Carolina on the run. 3-on-3. Trimble to the cup. Can't finish. He wipes out on the baseline. Here comes Florida State the other way. Spears has it. He'll drive left of the lane. Cut off out to Corrin. His mid-range jumper is good. 8:40 to go. 63-56. Carolina's missed its last 5 shots. Florida State 2 of its last 11. Carolina by 7.
Important right now to get what we want.
Yeah, the last couple of offensive options for Carolina have not been real clean. Cadeau to Ryan. Open look for 3. It was short out of his hands, but the offensive rebound. Ingram gets it to Trimble to Baycott. Out to Ryan. He's going to try again for the triple. That one's good! Ryan his third 3 this half. 66-56. Ingram again keeps the play alive. He has 15 rebounds. Baba Miller out on the perimeter. Over to Spears. Guarded by Cadeau, who has 3 fouls. Worley has it. Drives to the free throw line. Out to Spears. Cadeau's got to be careful defensively. Spears going to pull up. Rainbow 3. Holy smokes, what a shot. 66-59. Carolina by 7 with the ball. Next dead ball will be the under 8 timeout. Cadeau out on the perimeter. Crossover against Corrin. Once, twice to the rim. Oh, Cadeau comes up short. Had a good look, just couldn't finish. Here comes Florida State, down 7. Worley in transition. And a foul called on Cormac Ryan. Just got his hands too involved defensively as he was trying to stop the penetrating Seminole. That'll be 3 fouls on Ryan. The officials have just about evened those fouls back up. It's 9-8 now 9 on Florida State, 8 on Carolina. At one point, it was 7-1. The fouls. Florida State this half had been called for 7, and Carolina just 1. 66-59. Tar Heels by 7 with 7:21 to go. It will be a 1-1 for Worley at the line when we return. Carolina up 7. 7:21 to play from Learfield.
We're on the road with Honda dealers of the Carolinas. If you're a Tar Heel fan, don't just cheer for the best, drive the best. Drive a Honda. Better hurry, they're going fast. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today.
66-59 Carolina, 7:21 to go. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina is the official health insurance partner of Carolina Athletics and believes an inclusive community is a healthy community. Here for Tar Heels, here for all. And a reminder that Harris Teeter is assisting you with groceries this basketball season. Each week, one winner will receive free groceries for every assist. Visit harristeeter.com and look for the Big Four grocery assist page to enter today. Some Lenovo stats from this second half brought to you by Lenovo, smarter technology for all. Heels 10 of 19 from the floor this half, 53%, 4 of 8 from 3, 6 of 6 at the line. Florida State 8 of 19 this half, 2 of 4 from 3. They are 0 of 3 at the free throw line. They'll be back there now. Worley, I believe. Yes, it will be Worley for 1-1. He is a 69% shooter on the season. Each team has been called for a good amount of fouls. 9 on Florida State, 8 on Carolina this half. So this is a 1-1 for Worley. Carolina just one of its last 8 from the field, but still leads by 7. Free throw is short. Rebound to Baycott. So Florida State still without a made free throw. 0 for 4 this half. 66-59 Carolina. Just one of its last 8 from the field. Trying to grow the 7-point lead. Ingram on the left sideline. Drives through heavy traffic. Stops at the ACC logo where he is knocked down, but he's called for a travel. And that is another turnover for Carolina as I think Ingram, I'm not sure if his ankle twisted a bit as he immediately kind of tapped his right ankle and is now retying his shoe. Withers is going to come in, I think, for him to let him go and gather himself. Yes, he's going to come and talk or come to the Carolina bench to gather up as the Tar Heels turn it over. Officially, excuse me, I said 16. That's the 15th turnover for Carolina. Either way, more than they want. 66-59. Heels by 7 before State with the ball. Chandler Jackson back in around a screen, drives right to the lane and pushes it up over Withers. Jackson has 7. He only averages 4 points a game. He's hit some big buckets for the Noles late in the first half and now one here. It's a 5-point game, 66-61. Cadeau on the perimeter. Has Bull Bowen guarding him. Crossover behind the back, out to Ryan. Still 12 on the shot clock. Ryan, 10 on the shot clock. Has it on the right wing. Ryan can't drive on the right. Shot clock down to 5. Crossover, Ryan to the baseline right. Hits the front iron with the jumper. Front to him, the right side of the iron as he missed it short from the baseline. Florida State with the rebound. Again, Carolina an empty possession as they've gone one of their last 9. FSU's cut a 10-point lead to 5. Chandler Jackson on the drive. Trying to go against R.J. Davis. Pushes it up and scores again. Jackson with 9, and it's a 3-point game. Florida State on a 7-0 run. They've made their last 4 shots. Heels one of their last 9. Carolina needs a bucket. 5:45 to go, up 3. R.J. Davis gets a high screen from Withers. That'll put a switch. Gainey guarding Davis. Davis stops at the right elbow, steps through the defense and banks it home. High degree of difficulty for Davis.
That was an impressive shot. We got to get some stops right here.
68-63 stops that 7-0 run by the Noles. Worley downhill, left of the lane, comes back out, passes to Primo Spears. Spears, jab step against Cormac Ryan. Crossover, fall away long 2, well too strong. Rebound, Karams into the corner, and out of bounds to the Tar Heels as there were bodies for both teams diving for the loose ball. Bull Bowen was touching it out of bounds. Ingram right back in. Withers will come out. Watkins, who had sat down for a while with 4 fouls, will replace Worley. 5:12 to play. Carolina up 68-63. It has been a battle all afternoon between the two teams that came in first and second place in the ACC this weekend. Heels at 8-0. Florida State at 6-2 in conference play. Cadeau guiding the offense on the left wing. Tried the lob, and Florida State tips it away. I think the play was there, but FSU's length played a role. They'll get a transition three. No good by Bowen. Long rebound, though, run down by Florida State. Chandler Jackson loses the dribble out of bounds as he tries to drive left of the lane. It'll belong to the Tar Heels. I think Cadeau's pass was there, but, man, Florida State's length played a role as they were able to tip it and get the steal for the 16th turnover by Carolina, including the 10th steal by the Noles. They come in leading the league at better than 9 per game. Carolina inbounding against the Florida State pressure. Long inbound sent to Cadeau. Cadeau going to try and drive on Spears. Spears did a nice job backing up and keeping his defensive position, so the Heels will set up in the half court. 4:35 to go. Carolina up 5. Cadeau left of the lane, gets to the rim, can't finish. Ingram way up in the air for the tip in.
I thought he may have grabbed the rim on that. They didn't call it.
70-63. And a foul is called on R.J. Davis for getting his hands involved. That's 3 on Davis and 9 on Carolina. And so it'll be another 1-1 for Florida State. This time it is Watkins going to the line, where he is nearly 79%, 2 of 3 on the game. Florida State as a team is 0 of 4 from the stripe this half. 70-63. Deontay Green will come back in for Florida State, replacing Corin. Again, a 1-1 for Watkins. 4:20 to go. Watkins, 10 points in the first half, has not scored here in the second. Has a 1-1, which he makes the front end of. 70-64. Carolina was down 5 at halftime, has outscored Florida State 34-23 to this point in the second. Still 4:20 to play. Second one up by Watkins, and that one gets the roll. He's up to 12. Tar Heels against the full court pressure of Florida State. They had trouble getting it in the first half. They're able to get it in easily this time to R.J. Davis. Heels up 5, 70-65. Cadeau front side to Baycott. His pass on the right to Davis, nearly taken away. R.J. chases it down. Boy, he's going to try a tough three right in front of us. It was on line, but strong. Baycott tips the rebound out to Cadeau. He'll pull up for 2, no good. And there's players for both sides down as the defensive board came to Florida State. And that will, with the officials stopping the action to let everybody gather themselves, that'll send us to the under 4 timeout. I think the officials want to look at the monitor about something, too. Baycott, when he slapped that rebound out, may have made contact with a Seminole face. We'll have to wait and see. 3:56 to play. 70-65. Carolina, 3:56 to go from Learfield. .356 to play. Carolina 70, Florida State 65. They did take a look at that replay going under the hood presented by the Honda dealers of the Carolinas. Take your Tar Heel tailgate to the next level with a new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. Nothing added to that play. Baycott was slapping out the rebound. Did make contact with the Knoll, but nothing added to the play. Will be Florida State's ball. We need to break 10 seconds. Station ID down the lines on the Tar Heel Sports Network. Timeouts. Each team has 2 fouls. Each team's been called for 9, including 8 of the last 10 in the game called on Carolina. And the possession arrow belongs to Florida State. 3:56 to go. Noles have the ball. Heels have the lead, 70-65. Carolina has Cadeau, Davis, Ryan, Ingram, Baycott as the 5 on the floor. Jones Angel, Pete Chilcutt here with you courtside in Tallahassee. Primo Spears coming front side on the right. Hands off to Jackson, now to Watkins. Watkins around a screen, gets right of the lane, gets too deep, is able to save it out to Jackson. His three is short. Rebound is loose. And a foul going to be called on Cormac Ryan as he and Jackson went for the loose ball rebound. That's 4 on Cormac Ryan and 10 on Carolina. So when the fouls were 7-1 Florida State, who would have guessed that the Tar Heels would put the Noles into the double bonus first? 2 shots for Chandler Jackson, who is a 78% shooter. He's come in off the bench and given the Noles some big buckets, but he misses that free throw. Short. It remains 70-65. Gets the second of the 2-shot opportunity, and that one rattles in. 70-66 with 3:42 to go. Full court pressure from Florida State. Carolina gets it into Cadeau. Right back to Ryan, the inbounder. Right back to Cadeau. He'll come front side on the angle dribble. Crosses the timeline on the right. Guarded by Baba Miller. Cadeau. Drives by Miller. Hangs in the air. Can't get the roll. Miller challenged it a bit. Cadeau, though, had a good look. Florida State with the basketball. Carolina up 4 now. And Florida State stepped out of bounds as they pass it to Watkins on the right sideline. He tried to start his drive, and in doing so, as he planted to move, he steps out. That is the 13th turnover for the Noles, including 6 by Watkins. 3:13 to play, as this time it's R.J. Davis coming front side with the Heels up 4. Dribbling in the center jump circle, guarded by Watkins. So much length on this FSU team, dwarfing the Tar Heel guards. Baycott comes out to set a screen. Davis works around it. His push shot is short. Rebound tipped. It's loose. Davis to the deck. Tried to save it. Ball still free. Cormac Ryan ends up with it. He'll circle back out and reset the offense. Picks up his dribble, though. He's in some trouble, and he takes a timeout with 12 on the shot clock and 2:42 on the game clock. Carolina up 4. Wanted to make sure that it got a good shot. Pete, 2:42 to go. What you got?
That was a huge loose ball pickup by the Heels. We got to win those 50-50 balls. I still think we're going to have to get really obviously good shots down the stretch, attacking those switches defensively. Going to have to get some stops. We've been doing a pretty good job, but with the fouls now, the fouls are an issue. We got to keep our hands off, play good position defense, stops, and getting good shots down the last 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, Cadeau who's had so much success getting to the rim. He's had some trouble recently. He's now 4 of 11 from the field. You know, Baycott only has 5 points in this game. He's only taken 4 shots and has not scored in the second half. Tar Heels have missed their last 4 shots in total. Currently up 4, 70-66 with 2:42 to go. Ryan is going to inbound right in front of us. Cadeau, Davis, Ryan, Ingram, Baycott. Ryan playing with 4 fouls. Cadeau has 3. Watkins 4 fouls for FSU. Cormac Ryan to throw it in. Bounces, and it's taken away. Spears gets the steal, so Carolina uses the timeout, but then Spears gets the steal and layup. He has 15, and the lead is just 2. A double whammy for the Heels as they take the timeout to try and get a good shot and instead turn it over. 70-68, a stoppage in play because the Noles are subbing. The ball had squirted away after Spears got the layup. Full court pressure by Florida State. Heels still haven't gotten the ball in. Ryan just does so before the 5-second count to Cadeau. 2:30 to play. It'll be R.J. Davis with the ball in his hands, well out on the right. Carolina's lead has been as large as 10 this half. It's down to 2. Deontay Green guarding R.J. Davis on a switch. Davis between the legs. Step back 3 on the way. Off the iron, no. On line a little short. Rebound to Florida State. Heels have missed their last 5 shots, haven't scored in more than 2 minutes. Noles can tie or take the lead. 2:03 to go. Baba Miller dribbling on the perimeter. Floats it to Watkins. Trying to back in against the much smaller R.J. Davis. Spins baseline. Double team there. Stripped by Ingram. Out of bounds off Ingram. 12 on the shot clock. Carolina 0 of its last 5, 1 of its last 7 from the field. 1:56 to go. Spears to inbound. Long inbounds goes to Watkins. To Baba Miller. Run off the three-point line. Drives in, out to Watkins. He'll try a three for the lead. No good. Rebound to Cadeau. Cadeau. Got to get front side, and just does before the 10-second count. Hubert Davis furiously calling out the play. 15 on the shot clock for the Heels. They're up 2. 90 seconds to go in Tallahassee. Cadeau, guarded by Deontay Green. Gets into the paint. His spinning left-hander won't go, and rebound to Florida State. The Noles with another chance to tie or take the lead. Primo Spears drives deep, sends it to Darren Green, back to Spears. 1:13 to play. Spears uses a screen to get left side and loses it out of bounds as he dribbled it off his foot. Lee Cassell says he will look at the monitor to see. You can do that under 2 minutes. 1:09 to go. 17 on the shot clock. And we will wait. They showed the replay here. Baycott, well...
Yeah, I think Armando hit that out.
Baycott swipes at the ball, and then the question is, did A, he touch it, and B, if he did Spears touch it after that? We are now getting another look here in arena. It's going to be really close. Call on the floor is Carolina ball. Heels are 1 of their last 8, 0 of their last 6 from the floor. Have not scored in more than 3 minutes. Clinging to a 2-point lead. 69 seconds to go. Timeouts. Noles have 2. Heels have 1. Fouls. Both teams in the double bonus. Carolina, even with all those fouls on Florida State, has only taken 6 free throws this half.
Yeah, they haven't fouled in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. And possession arrow belongs to Florida State. Lee Cassell taking a long look at this. A view under the hood presented by the Honda dealers of the Carolinas. Take your Tar Heel tailgate to the next level with a new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. If it's Carolina's ball, they would have the 2-point lead and the ball with 1:09 to go. If it's Florida State's ball, the shot clock currently reads 17. And it is going to be Carolina basketball. So after the review, it will be Tar Heel ball with 1:09 to go. 30 on the shot clock. So certainly no need for Florida State to foul here in a 2-point game. Heels have to first get the ball in. That has been challenging at times today. Ryan will be the inbounder. Davis, Cadeau, Ryan, Ingram, and Baycott. The 5 on the floor. Florida State's going to use 5 to guard 4. Miller has his back to Ryan. Inbounds goes to R.J. Davis. He's right on the baseline, but once he gets it in, Florida State eases up. R.J. Davis comes front side on the left. Carolina up 2 with the ball. Less than a minute to go. R.J. Davis wants a screen, gets it from Baycott. Guarded by Deontay Green. R.J. dancing on the perimeter. Now he's going to drive. Stops at the ACC logo. His shot crawls in for 2. Carolina up 4.
Big shot right there. I love that.
72-68. Florida State the other way. Baba Miller on the perimeter. Hands off to Darren Green around a couple of screens. Sends it to Watkins. Spinning into the paint shot. Blocked by Ingram. Into the hands of Ryan. 31 seconds to go. Carolina gets it to R.J. Davis, and he is fouled. 29.3 to go. Ingram rotated over and blocked the shot. Heels up 4 with Davis going to the line. Foul is on Green, Deontay Green, his 3rd. 2 shots for Davis, as that was the 10th foul on FSU.
That was great help by Harrison. Big play right there.
So 2 shots for R.J. Davis, 29.3 to go. Davis has 21 to lead the Tar Heels scoring, including that big bucket a moment ago. 2 shots for Davis. First one is good. He's the leading free throw shooter in the ACC. Withers will replace Cadeau. Also, for the first time, Tom House. 14 of his 17 shots this year have been threes. Comes in for Florida State. Carolina up 5, 73-68 with another free throw coming for Davis. Deep breath, spins, shoots, got it. Florida State will inbound to Spears. He's going to roll it. Carolina comes into the backcourt to force him to pick it up. Big screen in the backcourt, gets Spears front side. Drives against Baycott. His circus shot won't go. The tip-in won't drop. Ingram with the rebound. He'll protect the ball. Now give it to R.J. Davis. 19.2 to go. Ingram with a block and a rebound on the last two defensive efforts from the Heels. The foul on Baba Miller, his fourth. And two more free throws coming for R.J. Davis. Florida State, after shooting better than 50% in the first half, is shooting 38% here in the second half. Two more coming for Davis. 19.2 to play. First one. Good. It's now a 7-point lead. 75-68. Carolina looking to move to 9-0 in the league and win its 10th consecutive game. Free throw from Davis. It rattles out. Here comes Florida State the other way. Heels up 7. 14 seconds to go. FSU going to try a long-distance three. No good. R.J. Davis with the rebound. Had it tipped away. He recovers. Pitches ahead to Baycott. He's going to protect the ball. Florida State will not foul. The top two teams in the ACC.
Big win right there.
With a big-time battle in Tallahassee this afternoon, and it is Carolina that for the 10th consecutive game makes the plays and walks away a winner. Tar Heels win it 75-68. Florida State misses its last 5 shots, does not score for the final 2:36 of the game, and that Tar Heel defense does it again. Carolina wins it by 7. Heels 17-3, 9-0 in conference play. Florida State, valiant effort from the Noles, 12-8, 6-3 in ACC action. Don't go anywhere. Coke postgame report coming up. We'll talk to Coach Davis. We'll get a player. Pete will give you his thoughts. Dave will go through the stats and other scores as well. Tar Heels a winner again. They're still unblemished in conference action with the 7-point win in Tallahassee from Learfield.
Attention Tar Heel fans, if you've had any alcohol as a part of your game day activities, make sure you don't get behind the wheel. There are more ways than ever to get home safely. Call a friend, a cab, take a bus, or app your ride, as Steels will ride home from Tallahassee happy. 75-68 winners. As we welcome you back to the Coca-Cola postgame report, Dave Nathan here in studio. Pete Chilcutt on the road, and we'll hear from Jones and Coach Davis momentarily when they're ready to talk. But Pete, to come back from 5 down at the half, overcome a season-high 17 turnovers, and beat a team like Florida State, this was no small feat pulled off by the Tar Heels today.
Absolutely not, Dave. And you know, as a player, you know, I know kind of what to expect on the road, but I think maybe the casual fan thinks these games are going to be easy. These teams aren't that great, but this is a battle. This was a struggle. You're not going to play as efficiently and as good as you do at home on the road, and you're going to be tested. I mean, the refs seemed like they came out in the last part of that second half and just were hammering us with some touch fouls, and then we couldn't score. We couldn't be efficient like we were in the first half. Some of those things were just things that happen on the road. So, I mean, this was a battle that you ask anybody in that locker room, we'll take any kind of win we can get, but it was a hard fought for sure.
And free throw shooting is almost a carbon copy of the first game where Carolina had such an advantage. The Tar Heels 19 of 24 at the line. That means another 1,900 meals donated to a local area food bank through Food Lion Feed. Score to give more program. FSU only got there 11 times and was 5 of 11 at the stripe, and that certainly mitigated a lot of the damage that Florida State was able to do.
Yeah, it is, and it did. You know, we have built a kind of a tradition here of just getting to the basket because of how we play. Night in, night out, we got to be aggressive, going to the basket. We're going to get some of those calls. Sometimes we won't. But we got to be able to have a foundation of how we're going to build our team, and it's going to be defensively. It's going to be getting to the line. It's going to be taking smart shots. All that stuff, especially getting to the line, is invaluable in any game, but especially on the road, because we're going to struggle sometimes on the road shooting and making some key shots, but we can be consistent on that free throw line, and did a great job today of getting to the line.
To that point, Elliot Cadeau, only 4 of 12 shooting, but 8 of 9 at the free throw line. Also had 6 assists. We'll hear from him a little bit later on. Let's check in with Jones and Coach Davis right now.
Yeah, Dave, thank you. Yeah, Carolina made the plays down the stretch, 75-68. The Tar Heels win their 10th consecutive game, taking Florida State's best shot today in Tallahassee. Coach, this was an intense game from the start and close game from the start. Your team made a bunch of big plays in the second half. Your thoughts on this big win?
Well, I thought the guys really stepped it up defensively. You know, Florida State in the first half shot 50%, and then we held them to 36 in the second half. We took care of the basketball because we had 12 in the first half, only had 5 in the second half. And that's our 10th straight game that we out-rebounded an opponent. And so then you combine that with our ability to get to the free throw line and make free throws, that allows us to come away with a huge win on the road against a Florida State team that I don't want to see anymore in the regular season.
You mentioned the defense. What did you feel like your team did better defensively in that second half to bring that shooting percentage way down?
Well, 2 things. One, I felt like our awareness early. We were playing. I always talk to them about playing defense before you play defense, not just when your guy gets the ball. Like something is coming, so you got to be in the stands, be ready to get after it. And I thought we did a better job of that. And also, I thought we did a really good job of defending without fouling. They're second in the ACC in terms of free throw attempts. So for us to hold them to only 11 free throw attempts, that's huge. And that was something that we wanted to do coming into this game.
Carolina took 24 free throw attempts, made 19 of them in the ballgame. Coach, there was a stretch in that second half where Elliot Cadeau was getting to the rim almost at will and made a bunch of big buckets or distributed to help you guys get the lead back. What did you like from your freshman today?
Well, I thought he did a really good job of getting to the basket. He has that ability to be able to break down pretty much any defender and be able to get to the basket and also distribute as well. I think he had 6 assists. But also learning when you don't have it and being able to distribute the basketball. But, who brought us home was RJ and Harrison. I mean, I hate leaning on RJ so much, but I've leaned on him for 4 straight years. So I'm accustomed and used to it. And then Harrison, 13 points, 17 rebounds. He's just a beast on both ends of the floor. That block that he had sealed the game, weak side defense. And so just really happy and really proud of the guys.
Last thing, Coach, what is allowing this team, particularly on the road? You've been in some games where, let's say, maybe the 6-minute mark or so on the road, it's been a close game, but it's been your team that has made the plays down the stretch. What do you think has allowed them to do that time after time?
It's the same thing over and over again. It's the discipline in the details. Who are going to get the box outs? Who's going to defend without fouling? Who's going to get the loose balls? Who's going to, from an offensive standpoint, are you going to be able to execute your plays? Are you going to make your free throws? Are you going to knock down open shots? It's very simple. And so, in that time, which team, the discipline and the details are more consistent? And that's something that we have talked about from the start with this group that we want to be good at. And also, we're having success in those situations, and it's building confidence. And so in those situations, all of us in the huddle, like we've been here before, we can do it again.
Carolina stays unbeaten in ACC play, wins its 10th consecutive game. Coach, as always, thank you for your time and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No doubt the Tar Heels celebrating a 75-68 come-from-behind road win at Florida State to improve to 17-3. And 9-0 in the ACC. And a big reason why, the play of freshman Elliot Cadeau, who had a chance to speak with our very own Adam Lucas after the conclusion of today's game.
Alongside Elliot Cadeau, after Carolina wins a big one here in Tallahassee. Elliot, that was a real ACC road game right there. How were you able to make the decisive plays down the stretch?
We were just focused on not turning the ball over at the end, because in the first half we had a lot of turnovers, and they scored on all of our turnovers basically. So we was just focusing on not turning the ball over.
You really just dominated, especially the first half, in the tempo and creating offense, but also getting offense for yourself. How have you gotten to the point where you're comfortable figuring out when's the right time to do what?
I think I've been trying to figure that out all year, and I think I have a better understanding just due to playing games and just sitting down with Coach Marcus and just talking about it.
What kind of help has Marcus Page given you on things like that?
He's been really good. He's been helping me develop a lot, and I have a good bond with him, so I'm able to talk to him about everything, and every time I get subbed out, I talk to him, so he's helping me a lot.
When it gets to those final 3 or 4 minutes in a game like that, that's a 1 or 2 possession game, what are you trying to do as the point guard to run the offense and make sure everybody's doing what they need to be doing?
I'm just trying to control the tempo, as you said. During the end of the game, we don't want to play too fast. I try to push the pace during the beginning of the game, but towards crunch time, we got to just slow down and just execute and run our set, so I just try to slow down.
They play such an aggressive form of defense. As a point guard, what do you like about that? What does that open up for you?
It opens up a lot of space on the floor. Since everybody's basically being denied, it's just a whole bunch of space just to go by your man.
This team's now 9-0 in the ACC. He's got a bunch of road wins in the league. What's going right now for the Tar Heels? Why does this all seem like it's coming together?
We're just all playing together, and we're just focused on defense. I think that's what's winning us these games, our defense, especially down towards the end of the game where we're not even tired because our bench is so good that we can sit down. Everybody can sit. So it's just that we're not tired, and we play good defense at the end of the games.
Why do you get called for so many fouls when you are not actually touching the guy?
I don't know. It's been like that my whole life. Refs just don't like me. I don't know what I did.
Refs don't like him. Tar Heel fans do. Elliot Cadeau in Carolina wins at Florida State. Elliot, thank you.
That'll put a cap on our broadcast, produced as always by Tar Heel Sports Properties, a property of Learfield. Our general manager is Chuck Schrader. Phil Braham's our network manager. Paul Roper's the network coordinator. Our thanks to Chief Network Engineer Ben Alexander, John Essick back in the studio, and Jody Zeugner cranking out these statistics. For Jones Angel, Pete Chilcutt, Adam Lucas, and the rest of our crew, my name is Dave Nathan, reminding you that our next broadcast begins with the Reed's Jewelers pregame show on Tuesday at 6 when the Tar Heels play at Georgia Tech. Once again, our final score, Carolina 75, Florida State 68, and you heard it all right here on the Tar Heel Sports Network.
Carolina basketball has been brought to you by Wells Fargo, official retail bank sponsor of Carolina Athletics. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Tar Heels Sports Network.